All right. Here we go. Evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing? Hello? Give it a minute. Give it a minute for everything to get settled. All right. Hey, welcome and good evening. Welcome back. We are coming back to Dragon Age 2. Continuing the story of Hawke and his new friend, Varric. We met just at the end of... Hawke met at the end of last week's stream. We, of course, met him slightly earlier at the beginning of the stream because he's the one telling the story, which, again, is one of my favorite little elements of Dragon Age 2 is the whole frame story thing, that the whole game is intended as a sort of Varric telling the story to Cassandra, who will really encounter more so in the next game, in Inquisition. So, anyway, that is stuff to look forward to. We'll see. We might get to the Deep Roads expedition tonight. We'll see. I don't actually... There's a lot about this game that I don't remember the sort of scaling for. Duration stuff is one of those major things. Like, especially in Act 1. So I don't actually know how far we'll get tonight. We may, like I said, get to that Deep Roads expedition that we were talking about last week. We may get to meet most of the main cast. Maybe even all of the main cast. I don't remember who we meet in Act 1 and who we don't. I think we meet the whole main cast in Act 1, but I could be wrong about that. We'll see. So yeah, we'll see who we wind up encountering. We'll see what we wind up doing. Should be a good time. Always fun. A couple of announcements. First of all, a message from our illustrious and coherent president. Let's give a listen here. Hold on.
That's underway, just like the other question that's illogical. And I've heard you speak about it because you always, I'm not being solicitous, but you're always straight up about what you're doing. And the question is whether or not we should be in a position where you are. Why can't the experts say, we know that this virus is, in fact, it's going to be, or excuse me, we know why all the drugs approved are not temporarily approved, but permanently approved. Yeah. That's underway, too. I expect that to occur quickly.
Well, that means...
Yeah, okay. Anyway, that made sense, right? Okay, we all follow. Sweet. The other announcement, channel announcement kind of thing, or me interacting with you guys kind of announcement type of thing, is this, what you see down there on the bottom right-hand corner. I have been sort of working gradually through how to... hey, Kevin, how's it going? Gradually working through how you guys can donate and send messages to me, like Super Chat style. But I don't have the subscribers or watch time or anything, or desire to give Susan WikiWiki some of my cash to get actually this channel monetized. And it also, quite honestly, undermines a lot of the purpose of this channel, which is that I use my videos for the most part to actually teach. I use them in class, and I definitely do not want to put a paywall between my students and their classroom content. So again, I'm trying to do everything I can to, even if this becomes eligible for monetization, I'm trying to avoid doing so. But if, again, this has come up before, if you are interested in sending me money in addition to my PayPal, which is listed below, you can also go to ko-fi.com/Professor McCoy, which you will see right down there, and send a few bucks, and a message will pop up Super Chat style right there. If I don't see it, because it is a little bit further away on my other screen, anyway, if I don't see it, someone bother me in the chat, because it's important that I see these things. So anyway, that is there. So if you guys are wanting to throw a few bucks my way, I always appreciate it. I will always, community guidelines and propriety permitting, I will read it out on stream, even all the more so than the regular chat. That said, I have no plans to ignore the ordinary YouTube chat there are plenty few of you guys that I can certainly keep track of it just fine. Unless it goes crazy with another horchata debate or something, but, maybe not. Evan says, I'm going to stick to the PayPal. I'm afraid that I'll get you banned. Always a possibility. It's not like I don't usually read your chats anyway. So, as mechanically speaking, that link is handled through PayPal. Ko-Fi doesn't take any percentage or anything, so it's not losing me any money or anything. So it does get forwarded straight into PayPal. So if that is a concern, there you go. It's also a way of donating and also sending a message. It's the kind of thing that Super Chat, that YouTube Super Chat actually does quite well. But there are convenient alternatives. If anybody watching this is interested in similar things, check out Ko-Fi. I've heard very good things about them, and I'm giving them a shot and see how it works. Anyway, back into Dragon Age 2, or get your family killed speedrun. We've already scored. Why am I laughing? This is heinous. We already scored 1 last week. We lost our dear younger sister Bethany. Oh, Kylie will be here, but late. Cool, good to hear. We'll look forward to seeing her here. That's good. I mean, not great that she's late, but good to have her around anyway once she gets here. But yeah, it's we've already lost one family member, or Hawke has lost his little sister Bethany. He still has his jerk of a brother, Carver, and his dear mother Leandra. So we'll see how that all goes. Anyway, I thought of just I got a I actually have a sort of meme version of that quote from the president that I been sharing, or has been popping around Facebook a while today, because it's a heck of a quote. There we are again, back in Hightown. It's one heck of a quote. So I've been actually have a copy of that saved for educational purposes, of course. Because it's going to probably wind up supplementing my some of my various nonsense that I use to teach various things, like how not to write, and that logical fallacies, as it were, things like that. The example that really comes to mind is the infamous Donald Trump red hat quote. I am a disenfranchised noble. Anyway. But,
you can't miss the keep. It practically screams nothing fun ever happens here.
I don't know, that's a fun-looking pseudo-eagle. Like that. I don't know, the aesthetic of Kirkwall is very, very cool, albeit very, I don't know. I actually don't know what to make of architecture like this and decoration like this. I would say it is kind of brutalist inspired, at least in the sculpture. But at the same time, it's very, very classic in the actual proper architecture. Very properly classical. Yeah, anyway. It's... I use that quote from Donald Trump, and you might know the one. If not, you can find the you can find me referring to it in my my talk on informal fallacies, where he's asked a question about what can we do to make sure the American dream stays alive, or something like that, some kind of fluff question from a reporter.
Monsieur, please stop kicking the wall.
Who are you to talk to me like that, you bloody peasant?
The guard who'll throw you out if you kick that wall one more time.
God, it's like talking to a child. Mine in particular. Anyway, yeah, so after being asked about what can we do to make sure the American dream, to maintain the American dream, or something like that. And he answers, as one does when one is Donald Trump, he answers something along the lines of, yeah, the American dream's in trouble, I'll tell you what, but we're going to we're going to keep it alive, and we're going to do a lot to make sure it stays alive. And, that guy in the audience, he's got a spectacular red hat. Stand up, sir. Let's see that hat. And it's a perfect example of a red herring fallacy, of just distracting from the key point. Can we go in here? Yes, we can. Look at that. I'm very surprised.
You're looking well, Sirrah.
Thanks, ma'am. An office. And a chest. Hey, Varric. Let's...
Not likely.
Oh, really?
I'm here. Right behind you.
Darn. Okay, well, we can't do that, then. Enigma of Kirkwall. I do love this city. It's awful. It's just awful, but pretty. In its awful sort of way.
The office of the Viscount is not open to the public, especially recent arrivals not actually part of the public.
Well, that's rude, but true. Alright, let's go see about the city guards.
Stop kicking the wall.
Who are you to talk to me like that?
He's at it again? Guy's at it up here again this time. Well, we can't go to the throne room. That's fine, I suppose.
How much longer do I have to wait?
Yeah, Kevin says Trump did that a lot. He really did. And I have to say, I have a measure of respect for his style. Right? I have a measure of respect for his his avoidance of scripted answers and stuff like that. He's very, very real. And I mean that
Another
genuinely.
Place that wouldn't have me. Let's just go.
Oh, we're busy. I mean that genuinely, and I mean that complimentarily. However, at the same time, while yes, he did.
You know, I might be able to give you a hand with that.
I mean, he did have a. So I'm just gonna steal everything. He did have a kind of honesty, right? A really significant sort of honesty. Oh, Hawke's the only one who can wear this. Fine. It's the exact same thing I'm already wearing. All right. He did have a kind of honesty. He could have been a lot better at it. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. He could have and should have been a hell of a lot better at spontaneously giving answers to questions like that. Because he was clearly in over his head in a lot of cases, simply because he wasn't used to that kind of political questioning, you know? And I'm not one to say that he was, like, stupid, but he was obviously not a massive intellect.
Aveline.
Hello, Hawke.
That's it.
What? Oh, right. Sorry. It feels like we just talked. I've been keeping an eye on you. Information is one of the few perks of this job. Watch out for Bartrand. He's a son of a bitch.
That's good to know. Thanks. I mean, it's a little weird you're spying on me, but nice to have you on my side. I love Aveline. I can't be mad at Aveline. Oh, I have here a gin and muddled raspberries. It's actually mostly raspberries, but there's gin in it. It's a. I don't even know if I'd go so far as to call this a cocktail, but I do typically share what I'm drinking, so that's what that is. I actually have an array, really. I've got that. I have my gigantic mug of coffee, which I can't go without anymore. Delightful. And I forgot that I had, but I do have a. We went to Beef O'Brady's tonight. Saoirse wanted to go. She was very good today, so we went. And I have a cream soda left over. Kevin says you got Ron Paul, who was honest in a substantial way, and Trump that was honest in a showmanship way. Yeah, I think that's right. And this is actually something that a lot of people say, and I mean, but I think it really is worth appreciating that Ron Paul is honest in a in almost the opposite of a showman-y or politician-y way. He's kind of the least politician-y politician I've ever seen. And it's because he he really specifically he doesn't try to appeal to his audience, like really at all. Best example of this is like when he basically gives the same anti-war, anti-drug war speech that he would give in, Berkeley, California, and he gives the same speech in, down home Alabama to people who ordinarily would reject that message, right? And there's one time I think I forget if it was a debate or a town hall. He basically got led into discussing really, drug legalization. And this was at like a very conservative, this was somewhere in the South. This was a conservative event and all that. And they asked about legalization of heroin. He says, yeah, absolutely we should legalize heroin. And he got booed. He says, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. Are you saying that if heroin were legal tomorrow, is the law the only thing stopping you from doing heroin tomorrow if it were legal? And everyone kind of chuckled, but then eventually just sort of started applauding. He said it better than that, obviously. I'll see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find the clip, or even the speech, because it was great, because it really just shows that, first of all, it's a damn good point, right? Most of the dumb laws on the books are either stopping something they shouldn't stop, or aren't actually stopping anything because most people would follow them anyway, and the people who won't are already dumb and are already going to do it anyway, right? The law is there to, well, Augustine said something along the lines of the law is there to educate, but come on. It should be unnecessary, especially, and it's not the role of the state, right? Because first of all, who the hell trusts the state for their moral education? I sure don't. I'm far more likely to assume that a legal prohibition means that something ought to be done than ought not to be done, But yeah, so that's supposed to kind of be the function of these laws, right? That actually actively enacting or enforcing laws like drug prohibition are going to do practically nothing, because people who want to take drugs are already going to, and people who don't want to are already not going to. There's a difference on the margin, but that's very small, right? Especially with respect to very hard drugs, right? And then you also have problems like iron law prohibition, yada, yada, yada. Lots and lots of arguments that I can get into if you want. But at this point, right, the law is doing very, very little. All it's doing is ruining people's lives who are already having a hard time. Now, they're having a hard time through their own damn fault, so kind of sucks to suck, but still, right? It's not like the law is helping that in any way. It's not stopping them. And once they've already done it, it's just hurting them worse. So laws like this, victimless crime laws, are necessarily, almost necessarily counterproductive, and they are at the very least they have severe costs that we often don't consider. Kevin says, when Ron Paul was asked a question that was a dumb media question, you could see him thinking BS and prepping for a lesson on economics. Yeah. I love all the times that he just basically just sort of redirected some dumb media question to talking about the Fed. And because, listen, the Federal Reserve is at base really responsible for a lot of key problems in the current American political economy. And so he can just sort of say, oh, well, this is a problem? Oh, yes, you've identified a problem. Here's why that's a problem. And he then eventually gets to talking about the Federal Reserve again, because, it's a lot of times, it's at least partially their fault. All right. Anyway, back to Aveline, who, again, I love. I'm not listen, I've said that I'm not in general a fan of law enforcement, but I'm often a fan of law enforcement officers in particular. Particularly those who are like Aveline here, doing their damnedest to do a good job and to protect people, and are not, evil and corrupt and such, or are not just sort of following along to get along.
I don't like it when you have people watch me.
Saved me camping on your doorstep. After what we went through to get here, well, you're no child, but I take care of my friends.
Aw.
The places they have me patrolling, I've got time.
Still having trouble? I thought you were past all that.
Lately, I don't know. I've been pushed out to some dead patrols. Maybe I stepped on someone's toes.
You can be forceful.
My charm, right? I should be able to go where I'm needed. In fact, I might have a job for you. Let me know if you want to do a favor for Kirkwall. Otherwise, I'm here if you need me. Maker knows I could use more satisfying work.
The Blight is over. You could go back to Lothering.
That wasn't home for me. It was just where the Horde pressed us. It wasn't the first village I saw fall. But you don't get used to people losing everything.
Sit up. There we go.
It's not how I wanted to say goodbye. I'll say that.
You can't go home again. That's supposed to be about maturity. It's not the same if you don't have the option.
It's been a year settling in. Are you all right?
A much
You
better
don't
way
need
of
to
phrasing
coddle
that.
me. I am where I am. How close I hold my memories is my own business.
I mean, for now, to be fair, they'll talk about it more, I'm sure.
This must be a very different pace from serving King Kalen.
I love that life. But there's a new king for a new Ferelden. Seems cocksure, but I guess he was there when the Archdemon fell. Can't fault an active hand. It's just one more change, though. The real end for me was Ostagar. What about you, Carver? You were there. Do you feel something similar?
Alistair, by the
No.
way. Talking about
All
Alistair.
right, then. Bit of a tit, your brother.
Oh, God. Choked on my drink. That was good. I agree. Oh, my gosh. That
Seems
was
like
great.
Kirkwall suits you.
It has been a challenge. Lots of opportunity, if you're the type the locals want.
Are you?
If you argue enough, you kind of convince yourself.
All right, Aveline. You have something worth doing.
My patrols may be empty walks in the dark, but there's something big coming up, and I could use you. An ambush, probably for a caravan, although I can't find any shipments that match up. Doesn't matter, though. Highwaymen waiting for someone to rob. I'm putting a stop to it, my district or not.
I'm no guard, Aveline.
There's only so many of us. Temporary recruits are expected time to time, as long as they're competent. You still claim to be competent, right?
Yeah, I think so. To be fair, we've kind of been away from Hawke's story for a while, so I'm assuming he's still competent, and probably all the more so.
You've been nosing around outside your commission.
I have contacts, and they're complaining about a lack of meat. Thugs and such. Someone is hiring. And one or two were told to prepare for travelers. You want to be good at this job? You pay attention to what's missing, and when people arrange escape routes.
You have a name, or anything else to go on?
Not important. If we show up and they attack, they're bad. Simple as that. I'll wager it's smugglers, though. Like I said, seems like an obvious trap for a caravan.
Seems like you'd want to share this with your fellow guards.
I will, if you sit on your hands. I'll send my alerts, and someone else will lead a patrol. But there's profit and influence to be had. You're my friend, so I'm offering.
Couple things. First of all, before Kevin, I see your question. I'll get to that in 1 second. First, nothing to note. I've mentioned this before when we were playing Mass Effect, but BioWare is BioWare, so let's talk about this again. My mind is drawn back to Mass Effect Andromeda and the problems with the facial animations. Right? which again, I don't think were problems with the facial animations per se. Because again, if you look at Aveline's face, you watch her face while she's talking, it's more or less static, right? The only real changes are her mouth moving and occasionally a blink, right? Or if she has an extreme emotion, it will show as a grimace or whatever. But for the most part, it's pretty static. The difference, however, and something that Andromeda was grievously missing, body language. Notice what I'm doing, which is roughly the same thing that Aveline was doing, which is she was moving her head naturally while she talked, right? This is what human beings sort of do. In video games, in well, I guess I'll say well-directed video games, you get the same kind of thing, right? You get this kind of meandering head and body movement to sort of augment what's being said, right? That isn't just facial animation, because most of the time, most of this isn't doing a whole hell of a lot. It's all sort of here, and that's more or less captured by talkie animation, and they're pretty good at that. And then the rest of it is in body language. It's in the head movements. It's in the hand movements. It's in, which, I mean, maybe me more so. That's the Italian coming through. But I think that's most of what was missing from Andromeda, where they all sort of stood still and they only acted with their faces. They acted with their faces quite a bit, but their heads basically never moved, which is what, damn it, I can't do it. I physically cannot speak into the camera like this without moving my head even slightly. Right? It's just not something I can do. Because I'm a human, you know? And by human, I just mean, you know, maybe person in general, but certainly Homo sapiens, right? I can't just talk without moving around, moving my head and gesticulating and that kind of thing. And that's what I think was severely missing with a lot of, especially just sort of the default animations with nameless NPCs in Mass Effect Andromeda, that they didn't do that. They had decent facial animations. They had terrible body animations, corporeal animations. So, Evan said, victimless crime laws are cringe AF. I'm just going to, by the way, I know what it means, but I'm just going to say as foretold, just for. So, victimless crime laws are cringe as foretold. Hi, Kylie. Good to see you. Welcome. Kevin continues. I think my support for laws, specifically regarding the codification of natural law, so as to build a coherent system of references and precedent. I mean, you can do that with natural law per se, with court-made law, with the whole common law tradition, right? So something like the British common law tradition, or better, I would say, better example even, the Irish common law tradition, where law comes down to mutual contracts and how they are applied historically through courts interacting with each other. Hugs in the chat. Hugs, y'all. Hugs. Let's see what else. That's everything. So yeah, let's do this.
All right, Aveline. I'll play guard.
I don't know if we're doing this
you.
right now, but
I knew I could count on you. They're hidden up Sundermount, remote and rough, but we can make good time with a shortcut this side. And no, you can't run off and do it without me. I trust you, but I have to be there. You're acting on behalf of the Guard.
All right. So, I don't know what the rules are for acting on behalf of the Guard. Does that mean I can't just... I can't loot bodies and stuff? Because this is an RPG. It's kind of what you do.
Good luck getting in. I've been waiting all day.
Anyway. That was half a joke, but... Oh, wait, I already have my party. We're good. Alright. So, Hangman, nah. Lowtown. Gamlen's house. Nighttime. Oh, I'm blocking the house. Gamlen's house is like right there. Right where my headphones start. Right where the microphone comes out. That's where Gamlen's house is. And I have mail there, so I'm going to have to go there eventually. Supposed to go to the docks at night at some point. Let's not do that yet. Let's go to the ambush site. Let's just do that right away. Because why not? We're out of the city. We can go on out and do that. We do also have something to do for Asher Belinar. What's her name? Witch of the Wilds. Not Morrigan. Morgan's mom. Flemeth. That's it. I remembered her elven name, but not her regular name. It's bizarre. Okay, whatever. Anyway, I got my giant mug again, Kylie. How are you doing? Love this thing. Giant thing of coffee.
There might be some stragglers before the main group.
Oh.
Nothing we can't handle.
That's kind of extra, just screaming for your dog. Let me know if this is too soft or too loud. Because again, I don't have much in terms of perspective. So do let me know if I need to turn it up, turn it down, whatever. Oh, hi. There they are. Fireball. All right. Kevin says, I get to see my boyfriend on Saturday. Cool. I haven't been able to plan a date or anything for 2 weeks, and now I've been missing him. Excited because we get to spend time together in person again. Awesome. In this setting, having mail can mean two different things, Kevin says. Yes. It means the letter kind of mail and not the armor kind of mail. At least in this case. Hawke doesn't actually have mail. He does seem to have, again, if I'm interpreting this armor correctly, that is something like a shirt of plates. Damn it, what's the damn thing called? It's not a gambeson, that's the quilted armor. There's a shirt of plates called... A shirt of plates is a technical name for it, but there's a different, more complex name that I cannot remember.
You go through me.
No, not breastplate. It's what he's wearing. It's what Hawke seems to be wearing. At least best I can dog. I can't think of what it's technically called. Like I said, shirt of plates is so how it works, and if you can actually see this, it's often misinterpreted as studded leather. It's basically a leather or fabric, usually leather, on both sides, with pieces of with sheets of steel, plates of steel about yay big, arranged in a pattern, bolted to the fabric, bolted or riveted to the fabric or to the leather. Typically, they will be overlapping, but not necessarily. It's much more difficult to get a coherent and cohesive sort of shirt. Oh, great! If they are if they're overlapping. It's much easier to have it just sort of up against each other's edges, like Hawke's, right? You can see the kind of layout of that. But yeah, that is Alfred, nice crafting resource. Again, it's there is a technical term for it that I don't quite recall. It's not mail. It's not a breastplate. I can't remember what it is. Klaus asks, have you before, or do you plan on in the future play the XCOM games? It's not scale armor. Scale is when they're usually riveted or banded to the outside of a piece of usually leather. It was one of the more historically common pieces of armor around the 10th, 11th century, give or take, before the widespread prominence of plate. Nah, not Gambison. Gambison is the quilted cloth armor. Brigandine. Yes, Kevin, thank you. Brigandine. That's what it is. Yes, what Hawke is wearing appears to be, or looks, as best I can identify, as a brigandine, which is what I was describing. It's plates of steel that are riveted between two pieces of some kind of material, usually leather. And it didn't have to be fully treated armor leather either. It could just be, it could even just be something like dress leather, just so long as it held the plates together.
There's our top.
Because that's the whole point. The whole point is to hold the plates together. Got him. Ah, there's more. Hi there.
You are not
There's a lesson to be learned here. Messing with...
well equipped for bandits, but dead is dead and the road is
XCOM,
clear.
so XCOM I have not
Captain
played.
Captain needs to know of this. Back to the barracks for your just reward.
It seems to me to be a bit too... Oh, God. Okay, that was great. I would say a bit too in-depth from a gameplay standpoint to stream, I think, well for the kind of thing that I do. Which is more about our discussions rather than just straightforwardly gameplay. Let's try and do these. I don't know if it'll work. Maybe Varric has to do it. Varric, can you?
I love doing that.
Yeah, he can. Nice. What's that belt? Ooh, fire damage. Mm-hmm. I'll take that. That'll work. Can't wear that. I've heard a bunch about it, and I've heard good things about it. The kind of thing that I would probably enjoy, but it might be the kind of thing that I would probably enjoy more off stream rather than trying to struggle through it. Yeah, let's just go back to the keep, and then we'll head down to Lowtown. Trying to struggle through it on stream, because you guys have seen me do that sort of thing, and what comes to mind especially is remember Awakening, Dragon Age Awakening. This is a few weeks ago. When I got stuck every few minutes, I was trying to talk about something, but then I got distracted by gameplay and by changing things around and doing stuff in game to the point where it was just awful for everyone because I was stuttering through what I was trying to say, worse than that Biden clip at the beginning.
There's Jevon's office. Wait while I explain our initiative.
I don't know how they do it where you're from, guardswoman, but I decide the patrols, not you and your whims. You may have been put up for lieutenant in your first year, but I'll have no show-offs in my command. Have I made myself clear? Report to your post before I have you and your Ferelden accomplice jailed.
Well, What a charming fellow.
I don't have to like him, but he could at least listen. Bandits are dead. That's all that should matter. It's not the first time he's made me wonder like this. Something is very wrong.
I mean, Purple Hawk has a point. Right? I could genuinely ask if he's not getting paid, because apparently not. We're trying to get money, but no. Let's try and actually investigate through this, yeah.
So let's find out whose toes you actually stepped on.
Then we should check the duty roster and see who was supposed to take that route. What have I stepped in this time?
Been good.
Threaten my friends. Not letting that one go, Captain.
Aveline! I owe you for clearing that ambush the other night. Saved me a mess of trouble.
Brennan, that route was yours?
It was. Single patrol. I'd have been dead for sure.
A lone guard isn't much of a patrol.
Shouldn't need to be. That route was clear for weeks. First noise out of it was your big fight. The captain reassigned me after he heard what you did, and I passed the satchel to Donick for his patrol tonight.
The satchel?
Pay and order assignments. Captain has us run deliveries to the outposts during light duty. It's usually just an updated copy of the roster. The satchel for that night was heavy, though. Anyway, thanks again, Aveline. You're a good one.
Uh-oh.
So the satchel gets heavy the same day we discover an ambush.
Uh-oh. Ellie says, yo, we had Indian food tonight. Got to try ras malai, which is a cheese dessert with rose water and pistachios covered in sweetened condensed milk. Ooh, cool. Hi, WizKid. Welcome. Welcome. Good to see you. That sounds spectacular. Weird, but spectacular. I dig it. I dig it. I love rosewater stuff. It's hard to find actually in use outside of pretty genuine Indian cuisine. So, but yeah, that sounds really, really good. WizKid says, you're talking about XCOM and you didn't invite me. You're always invited, dude. Always invited. Kevin says, Indian food is one of my favorites. Yeah, mine too. I absolutely love Vindaloo. Just generally. Curry broadly speaking, but Vindaloo in particular is spectacular. And it's that kind of curry that you don't get in, like, Thai curries. It's not the kind of thing you get in Chinese or Japanese curries. It's really, really uniquely Indian. And it's spectacular. It reminds me of the time I was in London, into this little Indian place, right next to where we were staying. It was right near Bayswater. I think it was called Maharaja. It was something like super stereotypical, so because it's an Indian place in London. It was this little upstairs joint with a bunch of Indian Brits, people who spoke English perfectly clearly, who had probably been here for a generation or two. So again, it wasn't what you would expect to be authentic here in the States. It was the kind of authentic that you would expect in Britain, particularly in London, because the cross-cultural exchange there from British Empire kind of stuff. And I ordered lamb vindaloo, and I had the option of hot or Indian hot. And hot, it was explained, is white people hot, is British hot. And Indian hot is proper Indian hot. And boy howdy was it. I got the Indian hot, and I came back for it 3 times on that week-long trip. I dragged some of my friends there too. They tried I got to try some of their regular hot, and man, the difference is stark. It is probably the spiciest thing I have ever put in my mouth, and I have eaten ghost pepper concentrate, not concentrate, concentrate. I have a jar in the fridge, and I use it often. Ghost pepper concentrate. This was hotter than that by a substantial degree. It was amazing, crazy hot, and spectacular. It's so good. Like I said, I went back like 3 times in like a week. It's totally worth it. Skit says, class, let's bully him into failing at XCOM. Great. Erica says, are you talking about XCOM? It's the way that Vince will never play XCOM. Why? I won't, but mainly just because I don't think it would work on stream. I'd probably like to play it at some point off stream. I don't think it would work well for this format. What I was saying was good. Also, Erica says, game tomorrow. Yeah, D&D tomorrow night. Should be good. Should be really fun. I'm looking forward to it. Alan says, oh, London has good Indian food. The ramalai wasn't too sweet. And it was smooth texture. Not perfumey at all. And also says, I love curry goat. Yeah, I typically, if I get goat, it's not typically Indian. It's usually if I get any kind of curry goat or really any kind of goat, it's typically like Caribbean or Jamaican. There's a Caribbean place in Gainesville I went to with Erica's sister when she graduated up there. And it had a great curried goat. Really, really good. Ellie says, Mom always asks for the Indian hot with her dishes because she has such a heat tolerance I can never understand. Yeah, same. I actually had a special order of some Thai red peppers for a lot of my seasoning. Those are incredibly spicy. That is the only thing that's come close, and I actually use those when I make curry. Vindaloo in particular, it works well. Those Thai red peppers is the kind that you get in that like chili garlic oil, the Thai chili garlic oil. And it is hot. I know it's not technically hotter than ghost pepper, but it can be made to be hotter than ghost pepper typically can be. WizKid says, oh no, not really, lol, not for philosophy stuff. Talking about XCOM. Well, nitty gritty philosophy stuff anyway. Not so much. Yeah. Erica says, I mean, we can always make that secondary gaming channel. Both you and I can upload Let's Plays. That's true. That could be fun. If you guys would be interested in following a secondary, just like specifically gaming channel, I might do that and kind of separate these things out. I wouldn't be against that. Erica said, XCOM is just tactics and math. You get angry at because a 99% chance of hitting really means 1%. No, I've played tactics games that are determined by percent chances and such. Again, some of which are pre-rolled and predetermined. And I'm thinking back to honestly, the Fire Emblem series is a great example of that. And I love that stuff. Still love it. Kevin says, I have the whitest palate ever. Spicy stuff scares me. Well, I apologize. Actually, know what you should try? That thing we put a picture of in the Discord, in the food channel of the Discord. Uzbekistani plov, which is a rice pilaf. We used beef heart as the meat. We kind of burned it because we burnt the bottom of it because you're supposed to leave it on the heat until all the water evaporates through the rice, which steams the rice, which is great. Unfortunately, we goofed and we didn't stir the bottom enough initially, and it burnt a lot of the meat to the bottom, which was very, very, very unfortunate. I understand XCOM. I watched some of it. Okay, well, I guess you guys are agreeing that the higher the percent, the more likely you are to miss, I guess. Yeah, okay, yeah, so it's a game that... It's a good description. A game where you fight, where you make soldiers fight aliens in a turn-based strategy game. Yeah, sounds about right. Ellie says, I like spicy, but not spicy to the point where I can't taste any flavor. That's true. And I actually had, like I said, we went to Beef O'Brady's tonight. Saoirse wanted to go, and she was very good today. And I had the Nashville hot wings with extra seasoning on them, because I love extra dry rub wings. Really good. I actually, I've gotten those wings before, and I usually don't add the extra seasoning. Get them extra wet, technically, is what you write down on the menu, or the order thing. How you put the order in. But I have, before tonight, I have not quite understood why that is so close to the top of their hot meter. And, oh man, when there's extra stuff on there, it's pretty hot. It is pretty hot. I mean, it's just cayenne, I'm pretty sure. But it's a lot of it, and it's pretty concentrated, so. WizKid says, and make them look like your friends and family, only to have them die horrifically. Jesus. And now I'm going to load up my XCOM profile again. Jeez. Well, I mean, speaking of dying family. Go Hawke.
You're sure you want to pursue this? This is your superior we're talking about.
If a guard has been put at risk, a good captain would want to know why. And if he's not a good captain, I want to know why.
I love Aveline. Badass. Yeah, this has to be a setup. Eric is a CEO to make them all after my RP, my roleplay original characters. Yes, I know. You do that with what's that survival RTS that you play? I forget. That you do that.
A messy way to pass information, and Brennan already sent it along.
Another guard is walking into the same trap. I can't let that happen. Brennan said Donnick, a good man. Donnick. I've got his route. A night walk in Lowtown. Let's go make sure his quiet patrol stays that way.
Right, we get to meet Donnick. Donnick is great. I look forward to going to meet Donnick. For very important character reasons that will eventually be revealed. Kyla says smooth transition back to the game. Yeah, I try my best. Yeah, let's go to Lowtown. Let's do it at night. That can also, then we'll just go to Gamlen's house from there. Pick up our mail. Rimworld, that's it. But then I cheat, because I don't want any of them to die. See, I think I knew that. See, that's one of those things that if you were to do it on stream, you could name it after
I don't make
viewers.
my guards fight gangs in dark corners, but if you'd like to help...
Yeah, let's go fight gangs in dark corners. In Lowtown, the sketchy place. What? Excuse me. Fireball! I love Muscle Wizard Hawke. Not enough. I'm actually kind of hurt here. Okay.
How can these nighttime streets be so dangerous? We should clear these idiot thugs out.
Up. Forgot my dog. Wizard says, oh, we're magic user. Boo. Boo? Why are you booing mage, dude? Love mages. Also, I will absolutely insist that mage makes by far the most story sense for Hawke. By far. Because so much of the conflict in this game is centered around mages, like between mages and Templars, and you can't play a Templar, yeah, mage makes by far the most sense for Hawke, story-wise. Even if it weren't my favorite class to play, and it's actually a tight, it's actually pretty close with Rogue. Rogue is a lot of fun. Kylie's magic's awesome, though.
We can't
that too.
waste time, Hawke. Guardsman Donnick is here somewhere.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that either. That's absolutely the case. Magic is amazing. Love it. But yeah, also, like, that aside, right, it's in their Gamlen's house. It really is, what's this? There's a quest marker here. Oh, Gamlen's house. Let's not go there now. No. Let's go the other way. Let's go to our actual quest. Whiskey says, yeah, just like FemShep. Still boo. Oh, crap. Wrong spell. Wait a minute. Did I just hear that wrong? Did he just say kill him where it hurts? That is... Did he really just say kill him where it hurts? Oh my god, that is the worst bad guy, tough guy line ever. Erica, write that down to use for D&D. Kill him where it hurts. Ah, Jesus. This kid says, I'm literally the wizard. I guess I'm just sick of all the important people in fantasy being magical. That is true, and I am leaning towards not playing a mage in Inquisition. Almost definitely going to be playing a woman, because, again, female makes much more sense for the storyline. Especially in Dragon Age, where really there are significant gender differences in their society. Which is worth discussing if we want to at some point, too. So that's the thing. But I am kind of leaning towards warrior or rogue. I'm not sure which. But I am leaning towards one of the others. For Inquisition. For the next one. That's still a ways off, so we have time to look. But we have time to think about it. Anyway. Gin and raspberries. Anyone's wondering what I'm sipping? Oh, good. Eric is going to have Carlisle say it. Eddie's character's absolute nemesis.
That was all me. Right there. Now you fall.
So Eddie plays a wizard in our D&D game, in the Friday one. The one that's tomorrow. And he's playing a wizard who, because he is a wizard, he has Counterspell. Counterspell is kind of one of his go-to things, and it's amazing. It's great. It's a fantastic spell. And we encountered a magic user who turned out to be the Warlock. It's not a spoiler. He figured it out already. Don't worry. Turned out to be a Warlock, and in an encounter,
getting close to the ambush. I'm not losing enough.
In an encounter, Emrys counterspelled him. Counterspelled Emrys is Eddie's character. Counterspelled this Warlock 3 separate times. And so this guy just hates Emrys now, to the point where he actually got his thugs to ambush the party. And then guess what happened? Emrys counterspelled him like 3 more times in the ambush.
Who? Aveline? You're a beautiful sight.
Guardsman.
I mean, I was on patrol and they came
Sparks.
out of nowhere. I took a few down, but there were too many at once. The captain said this route was supposed to be quiet.
The seal of the Viscount. Office details, city accounts.
Valuable to a guild of thieves.
A sacrificial delivery with one of our own. Captain Jevon will answer.
Wizkid says, oh, that'll be fun. Right before we trap him, that magic ball thing, Lamau. I'm playing a cleric in that game, and my character cast Odaluk's Resilient Sphere, 4th level spell, if you're not familiar with it. What it does is it creates a completely impermeable sphere of magical force around a target. It's going to be a friendly or an opponent. If they want to avoid it, they make a dexterity save. They can dodge out of the way of it before it closes in on them. It is completely impermeable by anything. Absolutely anything. You can't teleport in or out of it. You can't cast spells in or out or through it. The only thing you can do to interact is to push on it using your action to roll like a hamster ball. Love it. He was on a slanted rooftop down towards magical webs, like magical spider webs. Magically created, I mean, not like magic spiders. But yeah, no, it's this close. He made the save. He got out of it. Amazing. I want to do this again. I'm gonna do it again. Eric says you can practically see the background change to pink and the hearts floating around them. Aww. And then WizKid, being more crass, says, get it, Aveline. That Hawke getup is amazing. Yeah, the Brigandine. We were just discussing what the hell a shirt of plates is called. It's called a Brigandine. It is actually pretty nice. I like it. Riley says, oh my god, it feels like a medieval bachelorette right now. Okay, so I have said this before, I think on stream. I don't remember if I said this on stream. But I am not a huge fan of the romance options in Dragon Age 2. I have a Canon Romance. You'll meet her soon. Maybe tonight. We'll see. We'll see if we meet her tonight. I don't know. We might get there. I have a favorite Canon Romance, who I think is good for Hawke. She's great. She's fun, but kind of has the weakest romance options in general. And I like to say that the best romance in Dragon Age 2 does not directly involve Hawke, except as a wingman, which we're starting to see begin.
Selling out his own. Forget guard captain. This man needs to be in government.
Not now, Hawke. Jevon needs to see how justice works. This goes to the office of the Viscount. This will be known. The captain likes his thieves so much. Let's see if they welcome him in prison.
Nice. See, that was a great line. That was an awesome line. That was spectacular. Freaking love it. All right, let's see if that's a good shield for her. I know she has her husband's shield. But this is so much better. It's just so much better. I just have to keep this. Her husband's shield forever. And never get rid of it. WizKid says it's Pirate Girl or Elf Girl. Because I went with Elf Girl now. Well, we'll see, huh? Erica says that's a Leanne line. Too bad Roman is actually not corrupt. Leanne being the guard lieutenant,
the Free Marches begins here.
and Roman being the guard captain. For campaign. Erica says, hopefully I can't stand any other female in this game other than Aveline. I love Aveline. She's great, but I would never ever steal her away from Donnic. So much so that I put Aveline and Donnic as two separate NPCs in separate locations in my in the D&D campaign that I am running. And it is going to be the player's job, unbeknownst to them. Erica, close your ears. Player's job, unbeknownst to them, to get them together. Very important that this happen. WizKid, yeah, you. If anyone's not reading the chat, I guess it'll still be a surprise. Hi, pup.
Hard to believe they left me nothing.
Well, Mother was pretty steamed when you ran off with your Ferelden apostate.
I know you
Still
know.
their daughter, their eldest.
Is this sort of a door that goes nowhere up there? Does it just go outside? To like a warehouse? What is this? What the heck is this balcony with no access? What the heck is this, the storm drain thing? This architecture is so bizarre and disturbing. What in the world? Okay. I've never actually taken the time to look up in this room ever in the several playthroughs of this game that I've done. Yes, that is Doggo. That is our dog.
He wasn't like this in Lothering. I think he misses the open fields.
Come on, let's play Fetch the Invisible Ball.
He just needs to get out more. Don't you, boy?
But if he's with us, who'd keep Gamlen's debt collectors away?
Take it. I'm sick of what's-his-name staring and panting.
Gamlen, honestly, a Mabari understands what you say. Try using his name.
What's wrong with Dog? Real easy to remember.
Well, seeing as we didn't come up with anything better, let's go with Sable, the boy dog. Anyway, WizKid says it's slightly more dignified inner city shack. Yeah, I guess, with the weird loft. It's so disturbing. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Anyway, storage. Let's put away Aveline's shield. Wesley's shield. And Bethany's staff. Okay, let's see what's all around here. Erica says, yes, I don't care. Sable is honored. That is her character in a different game. The one with Aveline. Wizkid says, I've never seen the brother-in-law. This should be fun. Yeah, because you never played a mage.
Looks like the dog's trying to tunnel his way out of this hovel. Don't blame him.
Yeah. You never played a mage. Whether you played a mage or not determines which of your younger siblings survives.
What is that stain?
Don't want to know.
I think this is the same cheese that was here a year ago.
Don't like that. Don't need to order runes. What's that? A bread.
One scrubbing brush.
Oh, no.
Never used.
Wizkid says, no, also too distracted for XCOM right now. Yeah, can you imagine me trying to play XCOM while talking to you guys? Probably not a great idea. I think I'll just putter around in Minecraft instead. That's always a good idea. Okay, so we could be... So, okay. Legacy and then Mark of the Assassin are the two DLC campaigns. We will do those eventually. Not yet. We definitely should not do those in Act 1. I'm trying to remember when the best time to do each of those is. We don't need any of these yet. Chevalier's estate. This is all DLC gear. This is all... Actually, Chevalier's estate. Is all this for Aveline? No. Some of this is specifically for Aveline. Not Fenris. Arbor. Wizkid says it already takes half an hour to get a freaking turn sometime. We wouldn't get through a single mission. No. Well, that'd be fun to watch. Also, Parmesan does sound pretty good. Wait, Parmesan? Oh, I missed Kevin. Sorry, I missed you. He says, I had a hankering for Parmesan for a couple of hours now. Cheese. Oh, you're just eating Parmesan? I hope you mean, like, actual Parmesan and not just, like, the grated stuff in the tube. Because that sounds horrifying. That is not the kind of thing to just eat. This is all rogue stuff. Except for that's Sebastian's, which we don't need yet. Varric. Bella, no, not yet. No, this is all rogue. This is more rogue stuff. Varric. Isabella. Sebastian. Don't have either of them in the party yet. Freedom's Promise. That's actually pretty good. Oh, great, yeah. Oh, wait, yes it is. That's amazing. Just kidding. That's amazing. Increases all of your damage. Fire by default. Soleil's Favor. We don't have Meryl yet. We don't have Anders yet. Level 15, so we can't do that. Let's see. What about Apostate Legacy? Malcolm's Honor. It's good against demons and undead. We're only like level 4 or 5, aren't we? Anders, we don't have yet. Meryl yet either. One or the other of those we'll be using. That's probably good. We'll probably go with the Robes of the Pretender, at least for now. It's so good. Any of this else equipable yet? That will be, but not yet. Robes of the Pretender, regeneration, tons of extra damage, or +2 magic and extra mana. Okay, no, we're gonna go with Goat. +2 to all attributes. Stamina regeneration. I just like that one better. That's cool. I dig the look. Look. None of that's for me. Can't wear any of it. Alright. And a volley. Lost its courage. That's actually pretty good. It's all cold damage. Staff of Parlathan. Fire damage. Strap better equipment. Yeah, I might need that. Cool power and health. Green or better equipment. We strap more coin. Coin. That's pretty good. I think I'm gonna go with that one. Yeah, I might as well. Level. All right, so cool. Anyway, so God, I've missed you guys. Sorry, I missed a lot. All right. So Kevin says no. I'm currently fasting, but heavens no, I'm not Hunter by at least some class. That's good. That's good news. Kelly says, oh nice, I fasted on Wednesday and really needed the reset. Proper Parmesan, Kevin says, has to be almost chiseled from its block. I have proper shredded Parmesan current fridge. I don't have a block on hand. I sometimes do. It's good to have. Yeah, Kylie, he says, it really helps after a cheat day. I'm on 24 hours now and considering a full 48. Kylie says, yeah, since my granddad passed, I've been sort of eating a lot and not all keto things, so I definitely need to get back on track. Fasting helps so much with that. Mom did a whole week one time. Jesus. And said she loved doing it, but it would have been only once a year type of thing. That seems crazy to me. Not a thing that I would do, typically. I don't know. Maybe I would try proper fasting at some point. I don't know. Alright. Anyway, that looks nice. That looks good. It's a good look. Got a good look about him. Alright, let's check our writing desk. Letter from Mirren. You're a pain in the ass to deal with, but a bloody talented one. If you get sick of being just another unemployed refugee in this shithole, maybe we can grab a drink. There's any odd jobs my boys can't handle, I'll send them your way. You're welcome, Mirren. Cool. Dig it. Black Emporium. You do not know who I am, but I have heard of you. I understand you might need items from my collection, as well as the means to obtain them. I do not extend this invitation to anyone, but you are not simply anyone, are you? I am at this point. What are you talking about? Consider this an invitation to the Black Emporium. Enclosed are directions through the passages underneath the city, as is the charm to enter. If you give the charm to another, its permission will immediately be revoked, and the consequences will be unpleasant. Adieu, Xenon. Okay. Bizarre, but okay. Oh, this is all about Sebastian. This is long, but... Oh, we already picked this up. Okay. Yeah, no, this is that bounty he posted that we've already picked up. We already saw this. Alright, cool. Things to do. Right, Leandro.
My children have been in servitude for a year. They should be nobility.
If wishes were poppy, we'd all be dreaming.
WizKid says, one of these days for Lent, I want to eat literally only bread and water. See how it goes. That's typically in Lent, that's what I'll often do Fridays. Or at least what I'll do for the proper, like... I mean, for fast days, I'll often just not eat anything, but if anything, I'll just bread and water. For the proper fast days, like Ash Wednesday, Good Friday, that kind of thing. Alice is like, it was amazing to watch, and she literally even sat at dinners with the family and still only had water and broth. That is nuts. That's... I follow fasting rules that were typical in the Middle Ages, right? Hospitality ordinarily takes precedence over fasting, so long as you then commit to some further penance, right? So again, if somebody invites you to dinner, and it's expected of you for whatever reason, then it would be rude, typically. And again, I'm not blaming your mom for this. This can be acceptable to do, particularly if it is because it's becoming more of a modern practice. But in a lot of cases, it can be rude to just sit there and not eat, especially if someone is not sharing is not also along with the, either doesn't know what you're doing, doesn't approve of what you're doing, or just isn't in on it, right, in some way. This is where we get, in very rare occurrences, traveling monks would I don't know how common or how true this is, but it might be apocryphal. Traveling monks would carry a sack full of ashes, a pouch of ashes, and sprinkle it over food as their penance, food that they were offered by people where they would stay and where they would attend to people. It would be rude to deny their hospitality, but at the same time they're fasting, so to deny himself the extravagance, a traveling monk would sprinkle ashes over their food. Again, I don't know how common this actually was, but there are some accounts of it. Kevin says, sometimes fasting feels great, sometimes feels terrible. It all depends on what you did the day prior. If you pound lots of carbs the day before, you're probably going to have a hard time. Really. I guess that makes sense. Your body is ready to... also, your body kind of needs energy to digest carbs.
You mean this is real? No wonder I can't wake up.
And here I thought that Ferelden you ran off with was a mage, not a jester. Ooh. Your mother was supposed to marry the Comte de Lance, and instead she ran off with some Ferelden apostate. Ooh. You don't get to stay the favorite when you do that.
Where is Father's will? If I could just see for myself.
It's not here, all right? It was read, it went in the vault. No one needed to look at it again.
Mm-hmm. That sounds... sketchy, probably criminal. Wizkid says, my uncle was like that, Old Testament Christian, quote, big scare quotes, unless he was at our house and we had non-kosher stuff. Lol. Tyler says, so yeah, if I go out with friends the day before a fast and eat a whole bunch of keto stuff, fasting the next day after is absolutely challenging.
Did Grandfather mention Mother in his will at all?
Our father died when you were still in short pants, lad. You can hardly expect me to remember.
Oh, of course not. Why should you do something reasonable?
I know the Amels were nobility, Mother, but not much else. Why don't you ever talk about them?
The Amels have been a noble family in Kirkwall since Garahel drove out the Fourth Blight. But we've always carried magic in our blood. The hero of Ferelden was one of ours, you know. One of my cousin Revka's children. The Circle took them all. It's been a stain on our lineage. No family of good standing would ever marry into a line with magic. When I chose your father, I was bringing more magic into our line, not less. I think that's what hurt my parents the most.
Matt, see, this is why I play a mage. Because we're starting to see already the kind of social stigma that magic carries with it. Again, in some cases this is kind of justified, because mages can become abominations at the drop of a hat, which is terrifying. But still, you know, it's still very much a kind of social stigma and a kind of social discrimination, if you want. Biscuit says, see, for me it's hard because I've been carb dependent for so long. Whenever I go without them for very long, my body does not like it. I want to eat whole foods, and I absolutely shun stuff in a box. But it's just hard. Yes, likewise. Because I did. First of all, I'm Italian. Not eating carbs is basically treason to my heritage. But then also, it's like I just sort of grew up with carbs as being the default food, you know. Pasta was it. Bread and pasta and that kind of stuff. That was the basic, both cheap and both massive and healthy kind of food. Just kind of always has been my thing. Whisket says, why can't the Circle just like catch and release the mages? Check up on them from time to time. Because, again, the theory behind this, right? This isn't necessarily always ideally implemented. The theory behind it, right, is that at any given moment, a mage can turn into an abomination, right? They can become possessed by a demon and then become incredibly powerful and dangerous to everyone around them. What this means is if they're not in the Circle, actually there, presently, physically in the Circle, that at any given moment they could be possessed by a demon and then just wipe out a town, or go on a rampage, or get away, that kind of thing. And so I can see the justification for circles. Right? Now, we're going to see in this game, especially, we saw the relatively benevolent version of that. I say relatively because not quite, because there was the whole rite of annulment, the Templars were going to just kill everyone thing in Ferelden. But here, the Circle here, especially as the story of the game develops, gets worse and worse and worse and more impressive. Rather than it being simply a place for mages to congregate and sort of watch out for each other under the eye of people who can stop an abomination if they need to, being Templars. That's kind of what a mage's circle ideally is in this setting, but that is less common. You only really see that in Orlais is a weird case because a lot of their mages just kind of go to the court of the Empress for some reason and just kind of faff about doing noble stuff. So that's a weird exception, but a different one. The other exception of where a mage is really just kind of like a mage's circle is really just like kind of a college for mages to hang out and do magic stuff and study and have Templars around just in case. It's one of the cities in the Free Marches. It's not Starkhaven. It's not Kirkwall. It's wherever the human Inquisitor is from the third game. I'll remember actually. Biscuit says, that was my first thought when I played the game. Oof, I meant the Chantry. It's been a while, I forgot the name. Yeah, I mean, the Chantry, which is the church, basically, manages the circles. In some cases very tightly, in some cases more loosely.
Please, Uncle. We have a right to see it for ourselves.
Maybe so. But you won't be seeing the bloody thing. It's still locked up on the estate, and that's long out of my hands.
What daft bastard leaves that behind?
It was old news. You think I've been sitting here for 25 years waiting for Leandra to slink back?
Who bought the estate, Gamlen? Perhaps I could speak to them. Was it the Reinhardts?
No one you know. Get used to Lowtown, sister. That's where we're going to stay.
Not a big fan of this guy.
Maker, what a mess. I want to make things better for Mother, but some of what Gamlen says, I'm having a hard time hating him.
Really?
Playing caretaker for someone else's life. Stuck in their shadow. That's no way to live.
And there it is.
Look, if you want to join the fight over who lost the most, fine. But I never lived here. Mother even gave me her old key to try and stir something. But I didn't know Grandfather. Finding his will doesn't matter to me.
She tried her best to give us what we need. I think she's due the same.
Oh, I see her side. Gamlen's definitely an arse. But it's not like we can just ask slavers to give back that life.
What have you heard?
Uncle's a chatty drunk. He was up to his neck and signed everything over. That's who has the estate. Apparently, the most extensive wine cellar in Kirkwall is now a slave highway from the Undercity. That's the family legacy.
Kevin says, the motu proprio anger seems to have died down a little, at least from what I've seen. Yes, I agree. There is some... Okay, so this is... Alright. I didn't talk about this really Monday, so I can now, I suppose. The Pope issued a... Actually, it didn't happen yet Monday. This was like Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday when this happened, right? The Pope issued a declaration, motu proprio, basically a disciplinary document, about how the extraordinary form of the Latin Mass, in other words, the Tridentine Latin Mass, was to be celebrated. Basically, it depending on who you ask, trads will basically say that it was restricted, heavily restricted, or it was suppressed. Reasonable people will say that restrictions have been put in place about it. And I think that's certainly true, right? So some restrictions, we can argue about whether they're reasonable or not, have been put in place. Effectively, you need permission from your bishop to celebrate the Latin Mass if you're a priest. You also need special permission to start a community, Latin Mass community, whether that is at a parish or even outside of a parish, so its own separate community. Something along those lines. I don't remember all of the details. Right. Long version though is right that trads, like rad trads, people who basically think that the Mass is barely valid if it's not in Latin, or at least it can't be reverent if it's not in Latin, are very mad about this. And honestly, I will say that, as Kevin pointed out, this has toned down quite a bit, thankfully, over the past few days. A lot of them were just utterly furious about this, to the point where, like, a lot of people were were openly considering schism or apostasy, which is exactly the point to why the Holy Father issued this. He did this because there is a kind of insular, holier than thou attitude, maybe is a way of putting it. There's a kind of inappropriate attitude among a lot of people who consider themselves to be trads or traditionalists, who are very exclusive about the Latin Mass, the extraordinary form, as it's properly called. I think that this is probably a good thing overall, because I think his purpose behind this was to prune off those people who were already functionally, if not actually, in schism, while getting the people who are really and truly faithful, but who are traditionalist in their liturgical preferences, right? Getting those people to actually sort of work within the church, work within the ordinary structure of parishes. And I think that's really the point. I think that overall it will probably wind up being a good thing. And it might even, my hope at least, is that it spreads a little bit more, the more reverent ordinary form that I'm very familiar with. Let me put it this way. This is not something I've really shared much on social media, just because it's. I shared a meme that got like almost 100 comments, mostly angry trads, about this. This would be worse if I were to point out that there are three. I say parishes, but that's a stretch, and I'll explain in a moment. But there are basically three churches that are roughly equidistant as far as driving time from where we live. One is the Benedictine Abbey, which is not itself a parish; it's attached to another parish. That's the one that's on St. Leo's campus. Then there's the parish, which is right nearby, St. Anthony of Padua. And then there is another parish, which is the other direction, a little bit closer, but the other one's right down the highway, so same driving distance, same driving time, more or less. And that one is called St. Anthony the Abbot, both named after the same St. Anthony the Abbot of Padua, but whatever. Which is kind of irritating that they're also right near each other within a few miles. But in any case, right, of the three of these, one of them, that is St. Anthony the Abbot, at least on occasion, on sort of rare occurrence, not every week, but with some regularity offered, I don't know if they still do, they probably do, the extraordinary form, the Latin Mass. However, of the three, St. Anthony the Abbot, the one that offers the extraordinary form, has, in my experience, by far the least reverent ordinary form masses. Significantly. Far and away. Technically the monastery is Benedictine Rite. It's not even Latin Rite. Their masses aren't even Latin Rite. There are significant differences to the liturgy, so that's its own thing, which is beautiful. It's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. Time and stuff aside, I definitely go there. That's definitely my preference. But St. Anthony of Padua, the parish that one's attached to, is gorgeous. Beautiful church, and the liturgy is done wonderfully and beautifully for the most part. Even if it's not extraordinarily beautiful, it's still very reverently done, and there's no weird innovation-y stuff going on and all of that. It's great. More so than the one that offers the Latin Mass. And I think that part of the reason for that might be that at St. Anthony the Abbot, they have this sort of bifurcated community of Latin Mass people who are deeply reverent and observant and all that, and very pious. And then you have ordinary form, let's just say boomers, who are not so much. And you have this split that sort of further polarizes the two extremes, and I think that's really detrimental to the church as a whole and to the parish in particular. WizKid says they should just let people worship in the way they find the most comfortable. Like, I prefer Novus Ordo. Both are technically Novus Ordo. You're referring to the ordinary form is the technical term. Again, I am insistent upon this because trads, like rad trads who are Latin exclusivists, will insist on referring to them as the traditional or Tridentine Latin Mass and the Novus Ordo, when their technical names are the extraordinary form of the Latin Rite, or the Roman Rite, and the ordinary form of the Latin Rite, respectively. Anyway, excuse me. WizKid continues, but people should still be able to have a choice if they want. I don't know, trads are so annoying because of how insufferably uptight they are. And their obsession with the extraordinary form is one of the big reasons why. Kevin says, I'm more of a let's do both guy. I think so too, for the most part. But again, that might present its own problems, like I was discussing. I would have liked to have a traditional Latin Mass community in my area, but since no new ones can be established, I'm a little annoyed. Kind of. Again, it falls to the discretion of the bishop. Still. So, yes and no. WizKid says, fair. I just think the vernacular is more accessible. Yeah, absolutely. Erica can attest to this if she wants to here. But a lot of priests in my area are insufferably modernist, at least at my local church. Yeah, that can be an issue, and that really can. I've had good experiences for the most part, and I've not ran into too many, like, boomery, modernist, like hyper-modernist parishes. The worst of those that I've really experienced long-term was honestly my home church where I grew up. Has gotten more and more so that way as the community has gotten older. Always kind of was a little bit, but not so bad. But yeah, otherwise, just about everywhere I've regularly attended mass has been wonderfully reverent. And again, ordinary form, pretty much exclusively. Like I said, of the sort of 3 churches I have to choose from here, the one that offers the extraordinary form is probably my last pick. Yeah, I've been to the extraordinary form there. It is very nice. I like it. But I mean, I'd still unquestionably pick the Benedictine Rite liturgy at the Abbey. Oh yeah, no, I already said that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna put a link to the Abbey YouTube channel, where you can watch live stream their masses and also their liturgy of the hours that they do, all of which is fully chanted, all Gregorian chant, because the Benedictine order is specially tasked with the conservatorship of the Gregorian chant, and they do it so well. It's incredible. Erica says, I actually have a real bad mental hang-up dealing with people speaking different languages. I also can't deal with heavy accents. I cannot stop myself from tuning out. I have to know what's going on in order to be engaged. Yeah, and a lot of people are like that. That's perfectly normal, right? I get it. It's, if you don't speak Latin Mass is hard to keep track of, which is really why a lot of devotional practices, which maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but a lot of devotional practices like praying the rosary or silent meditation or whatever else, or other spiritual practices and stuff, developed during Mass after, in the last, or like 19th, 20th century kind of thing, when Masses were exclusively in Latin, but almost no one spoke Latin anymore. Not fluently, at least. And you still see it. It's really common today. Wizkid says, oh god, I should show you Sacred Heart's YouTube channel. Thankfully, the actual church itself is still very homey? Yeah, homey and quaint, but everything else is just oi. It's gotten to the point where I don't even enjoy going there anymore. It is disappointing. It really is disappointing when that kind of thing happens. Really is. Devin says, it's so weird to me as a person who converted. In my Protestant past, it was the old people and boomers who were more theologically conservative, and the young people who were the equivalent of modernists. Weirdly, not so much Catholics. I mean, you guys are a testament to this. Pretty much my audience is a testament to this. Honestly, I think a lot of it is converts. A lot of it's converts. Right? Wizkid, correct me if I'm wrong, but you and I are both cradle Catholics, and we're not radtrads. Kevin, no offense, but you seem like you kind of are one. And you're a convert. People go to the Catholic Church, they convert to Catholicism because of the tradition in a lot of cases. And that's very, very... converting for the traditionalist aspects and the not finding them there is where you get a lot of convertodox. People who just, skip around from church to church to church and denomination to denomination to true church to denomination, and then just end up being Orthodox, even though they have no cultural connection to Eastern Orthodoxy, or this nonsense called Western Rite Orthodoxy, which I know technically is real, but only kind of. But yeah, that's an issue too. That's an issue too, and I see it all the time. Erica says it even took me a very very long time to get used to the Benedictine Rite, because there's a lot of Latin chant and Greek chant. By the way, there's the Kyrie is in Greek. I had to sit down with Vince and actually translate all of the songs in order for me to get used to singing them in Latin, because then I knew what exactly I was singing. There you go. There you go. And they're not in the Missal, right? They're not translated in the Missal. Worth noting. Not in the missile we typically use. They might be on their online version. They have an online missile now, which is new since the Koof thing. So maybe they have the chance translated. Chance. Hard to distinguish from chance. The chance. I think they might be translated. Kevin says I'm trad leaning, but not full on rad trad. Good for you. Cheers. Anyway. Oh, wait a moment. Still typing, so.
That sounds like an arrangement that needs to change.
And what if it does?
You're talking about the slavers.
We still aren't important enough to actually live in the place.
We forgot.
Baby steps, Carver.
All right, brother. If the key works, we'll clear the estate from the Undercity up.
Yeah! Let's kill everyone!
This will help, but I do feel like hitting someone.
Yeah, let's kill everybody. All right. While we're at it, actually, yeah, let's level up more too. There. Let's go. Ooh, I have one. Ooh, I can pick a specialization. Force Mage. Oh, I can't do a specialization yet. Darn. Force Mage is the best. I love Force Mage. Spirit Healer is good. It's necessary. Someone needs to be a Spirit Healer. Purely for, where is it? Revival. That's it. You need it for revival. The Force Mage is amazing. I love Force Mage so much. It's so cool. Empress would love it. Erica says, I converted because it was true. I'm pretty trad, but also pretty mellow. It's a weird combination. I just don't give two flying poops what church hierarchy is doing as long as I get my Jesus during the Mass. Hey, thanks. Or sorry, yeah. Kind of same. Cultivate a certain medieval piety by having no idea what the Pope in Rome is doing. WizKid says, yeah, I'm a cradle Catholic. Well, my parents did a great job instilling Catholic virtue into me and my brother. Even if we're a bit less diehard traditionalists than some people in our family. Same. I'm traditionalist in my theology, my academic theology, but in my liturgical practices, not so much. Like, don't insist on Latin. I like Latin because I like the language, academically speaking. And it's pretty. Not because God can hear it better. Anyway. Ooh, yeah, let's do... Yeah. We upgrade heal, or should we do more Fire and Ice? Cone of Cold is good. Firestorm's great. Yeah, but... Yeah, let's do Greater Heal. Healing is really important. Healing is really important. Alright, cool. We have Hawke well equipped. Skadoodle. Everybody's coming. Okay, Black Emporium, no. Not Darktown yet. Not that yet. What's during the day? Hangman. Yeah, let's go to Darktown. Let's do the family thing first. This game's all about families. Let's do it. It says, and like the pagans. Or lat. I think that might have cut off. I don't know what happened there. I need to find somewhere to sell all this junk as well. What's this? Elven Radicalist. ML Estate Seller. Let's do that. Let's go to the seller first.
Don't like Darktown? Die.
It says at least... okay. At least don't demand their conversion or death. My obsession is just how everything's interconnected. Yeah. No, I pagan folklore and stuff is really interesting because of how it points towards Christianity. It points to the truth. And I think it does. That's very different from from being interested in it to sort of just to study because it's neat, and also very different from thinking that it is the fullness of truth. And there's both very different things. I feel like asking this again. This isn't too loud, is it? I can turn this down. I don't want to be blasting you guys as well as I'm blasting the bad guys, you know? Speaking of folklore, and Norse folklore in particular,
You go through me before anyone.
I'll deal with this.
yeah, speaking of Norse folklore in particular,
I can't move.
so the Loki finale, that was a thing that happened. So I was, I think I am gonna have to do a dedicated video. Kevin says I wouldn't demand their death unless they were doing child sacrifice or something. Well, there are plenty of pagans today, currently in real life, in current year America, that are doing pagan child sacrifice. So I think documents. Sweet.
Mother described it once. Put that above your door and you better have the ties to back it up. Otherwise you just look old.
But yeah, there are plenty of real pagans who are currently doing child sacrifices, so. Spiderweb, interesting. Okay. They're just, typically they're secular pagans. The children are particularly young, let's say. It says, yeah, not a big fan of human sacrifice. But magic, old pantheon, tarot, Kabbalah, and mysticism. Kind of dig it. I would never do it myself, but like pondering the implications. And since I'm a Jungian at heart, of course, mysticism and alchemy are a particular interest. But yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I think that is something of interest.
Everyone stay still and try not to make any
Okay, Varric, how about you?
loud noises.
First of all, also, I forgot to level everyone else up. Can't do those. It says, okay, I left for a few minutes. What's happened in the chat? Because it's a lot. We were mostly talking about the liturgy wars currently happening under between trad Catholics and less traditionalist folks. Yeah, I mean, like that. It's nice, but now let's go with archery. Let's focus him a lot on archery. Constitution. I want her unkillable. That's the goal. Yeah. Cool. Also, Kevin says Eddie is a pagan synthesizer. We learned it. Gotcha. Yeah. Whoa, that was really something. Oh, he teleported. I thought he just turned invisible. Alright, we got him. Anyway, speaking of Norse mythology.
Easy as pie.
Loki Finale. Like I said, I'm probably going to make my own independent video on it. Standalone video. It's going to be a little while, because it's going to... I still need to find a good deal of... not stock footage, that's the wrong way of describing it, but
That has to be the vault.
illustrations,
If there's anything
animations,
to learn
things
about
like
the
that.
family, that's where it is.
A bunch of difficult things that I need to...
So this is it? Grandfather's will? Let's just take it back to Mother and be done with it.
This kid says, literally, I have never claimed otherwise. Half my Facebook wall is memeing about what an other Gemini I am. God, I don't even know what that means. Is that one of those is that one of those like star things? Gemini's the fish, right? See, the funny thing is I don't even know if I'm memeing. Yeah.
I'll head for the door soon enough. I want to look around first.
Let's make sure there's no more slavers for us to murder. I mean, it's not murder if they're slavers. Oh, never mind. That's the door. We should leave. Yeah, let's go. That's it. Never mind. Just kidding. Anyway. Evans' Mercury is in lemonade. Truer words have never been spoken. Presumably. I have no idea. Anyway, Loki. Like I said, I'm going to do a standalone video about the time travel shenanigans and the Tismy metaphysics going on.
Did you approve my application?
I can't make you a guard, Carver.
We were both soldiers. Why won't they take me?
I was an officer, and I follow orders.
No, you don't.
I also think of others before myself. You seem tired of that, and that's dangerous.
Just when it's not my choice. You told them not to take me, didn't you?
Yes.
Ooh! Ooh! Well, at least she's upfront about it. Jesus, that was harsh. Man. Okay. Let's go sell our junk, I guess. Oh man, I did not see that. I did not see that coming. Erica says, wait, Vince, I needed to do something for my game when I get home. Forgot what it was. Me too. Yeah, I don't remember either. I really don't. I don't think I'm gonna use either of these, so I'll sell them.
Welcome, merchant. Not here to sell today, guardsman. My shipment's late.
Whiskey says Gemini is the twins. Airy, intellectual, really talkative. Good with making and losing friends with my words. Okay, fair enough. I mean, it's just vague enough to apply universally, but still. Fair enough. Alright, let's go back up to the guard barracks. Ellie says, lol, by the way, is Facebook changing the way one can share posts, because when I've wanted to share a post and it's asked me to make an actual post, and I'm worried that it won't give credit to the original page. Yeah, there's a check mark. You have to. There's a little checkbox that says, at least on mobile. I'm not sure if how this works exactly on desktop, but when you share it, you need to make sure that it you have to. There's a little checkbox. Include original post. You do need to do that.
Good luck getting in. I've been waiting all...
Evan says, Kylie, thank you for your heartwarming
Dare
innocence.
you! I am guard captain! I won't be treated like this! Ferelden, bitch! This was none
Sure
of your
will.
affair! I'll see you hanged! Quartered! This will not stand!
God, that smirk. Oh, I love that
We
smirk.
found a number of debts to suspect peoples. Such poor character. But you, Aveline Valen, have proven your loyalty and ability.
The guard deserves better than him, Messire.
Indeed. The Viscount would have you put your care for the men into direct practice. You will assume the captain's job.
What?
In due time, of course. There will be training, approvals, months at least. But who better to rebuild respect than the woman who exposed this embarrassment? Resolve any outstanding business, guardswoman. You will be very busy.
Awesome. You've been here literally a year. That's a hell of a promotion. 100% deserved. Also, you better hope mercury is not always in lemonade. You drink that stuff. Shouldn't drink mercury.
I'm with you.
Anyway, that was a joke. Mostly.
Not much room in
I don't
the
know if it was a
barracks,
joke.
but there's nowhere I'd rather be.
I don't actually know if that was a joke. I think it was. Mostly. Oh. Let's talk to Aveline. Okay, here we go.
Varric, no.
You're the
good start.
captain, or you will be. It'll be easy.
I'm not petitioning the Viscount to help you steal ownership of the Hanged Man.
Steal. Madam, you wound me.
I'm about to.
Oh my god, that's great. See, oh my god, I love the writing for this game so much. This is so brilliant.
Big changes are coming, huh? Captain of the Guard.
Oh god.
Thank you, Wesley.
That you keep his memory speaks well of him.
He's not with me. I know that. Wesley's at the Maker's side, or he's not. Either way, he knows no pain. What I keep is that moment. I won't let anyone down like that again.
Wait, what the heck is going on here? Okay, so to clarify, Kylie's confused. The phrase is a planet in retrograde, and it refers to Mercury and Venus, and it has to do with our perspective in the solar system. When the orbit passes us, it looks like it changes direction in the sky. That's called being in retrograde astrologically. Astrological terms, just in astrology. It's supposed to have some kind of astrological significance. Alternatively, it means we passed by them, which is neat. But, you know, that's what's going on. Saying Mercury is in lemonade could mean one of two things. Either joking about retrograde, which is probably what's going on, or warning you not to drink lemonade because there's a toxic heavy metal in it. Could be either one, really. Erica's stares in astrology is fake and gay. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. I can't disagree. Also, Erica, I'm a guess and say Cancer, maybe? Not as informed as the other signs. I actually don't know. I don't know what sign is that time of the year that Erica's birthday is. If I said when her birthday is, Eddie would just know, and that's no fun. But Kylie got it. Nice. That's when that is. Neat. I have no idea. Kevin says, stop sign, railroad crossing sign, hazard sign, falling rock sign, and slow children at play sign. All comes together to make a Kevin. All I have to say about that is tag yourself. I'm probably falling rock sign. Erica said I have none of the traits. Fair enough. Sagittarius, by the way, apparently. I'm, you guys, someone might know when my birthday is, so you might just know it off of that. If anyone wants to guess mine, have fun. WizKid says that was his second guess. We'll believe him for now. Kylie says, I feel that being a Scorpio, and it's frustrating because I match maybe two of the millions of traits. Again, the traits are typically broad enough so that they apply universally. WizKid says, you probably have a rising sign that serves to counteract it. My rising sign's basic. I can't read this seriously, damn it. Listen, I had a colleague, a fellow grad student at USF, who a large part of her thesis, her research, was about the understanding and the efficaciousness of zodiac signs. And then also, in particular, a lot of it was also there are factors to consider that she actually looked into, one of which was the cultural impact of the prevalence of the zodiac and the prevalence of astrology, leading to a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy, if you want, a psychological self-fulfilling prophecy that people will steer into these traits. Right? The other aspect, which accounts for a lot of this, is just birth time. People who are born around the same time of the year can often have the same kinds of traits, not necessarily because of the stars, but because of what society is doing at that time of the year, at that season. So that's a thing. It's a thing. I'm just reminded of the good old piece of advice that when a girl you're looking to date asks for what time you were born, she's not right for you. Anyway,
Wesley's at the Maker's side, or he's not. What do you mean by that?
Wesley believed, and if he was correct, then that's where he is. But this business of the less the Maker does, the more he's proven, I don't find it compelling.
But you married a Templar.
I married a man. A good one. And he's gone. I have heard the chant. It is lovely. Perhaps that's all it needs to be.
WizKid, what do you think? Before I say yes or no to that. I want the bets all in.
You clearly miss Wesley, but that's not the issue.
Of course I miss him, but he's not coming back.
Never mind.
Pining like a child serves no one. So I remember him, but I let him rest.
You're not so kind to yourself, though.
No.
God, I really like Evelyn.
I don't see how you can take the
really
blame for the Darkspawn Horde.
I put him to the sword myself, Hawke.
Well, there is that.
I know in my head that it was right. So did Wesley. But in my heart, that cut was cruel.
But yeah, like I said, this colleague of mine, she studied a lot of this, and well, I think we can probably solidly say there is no causal link between the position of the stars at the time of one's birth and one's personality characteristics. I think we can say that there could be a significant correlation present for various reasons, for all sorts of reasons. And so there could be something to this, right? Even if it's broad strokes, and even if it's fallible, because any social science is going to be fallible. So, okay, right? She actually shocked me out of a lot of my more radical skepticism about horoscopes and such, just because a lot of it does turn out to be correct. Again, I don't think it's almost certainly not causal, because it couldn't really be by any reasonable causal mechanism. But it could perfectly well be correlative. at least to some degree. And it probably is to some degree. And a lot of that probably has to do with common traits to people born during certain times of year, and also to things like expectation fulfillment and things like that, right? Erica says, "Oh no, she's an atheist and no longer like Aveline. She's not an atheist so much as she's I don't know, skeptical, crisis of faith maybe, dead husband and all that, dead pious husband. Still like her. Still like her." Wizkid says, I think she's right. You can't just obsess over making everything the Chancey says be right all the time. I mean, kind of, yes, you can. If it's right, then it's right. But I think that a big part of it is also like not obsessively worrying about it is another thing too. That might be a separate tack. Right? Erica says, we're not talking about the Chantry, we're talking about God, the Maker. Also, there was a joke. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I still like her, and I still think that's it, especially given her what's going on in her life. Right? I get it. No, he's not gonna mess with her like that. No way. No. Varric just tried this. Nah.
I can't imagine the captain of the guard will like wandering in my shadow.
It's not like this job means we're on opposite sides. The good you do, it seems rather appropriate. Besides, I'll be making the patrol schedule, and I don't intend to lead from a desk.
Wizkid says it has its place. Horoscopes like in the paper are hilariously dumb. Personality stuff can be helpful. Yeah, that's probably true. Not gonna be flirting with that. It's not.
I look forward to working with you, Guard Captain Aveline.
Still strange, isn't it? Captain of the Guard. Thank you for helping me get here, Hawke. It's where I should be.
Alright.
Hope the day is treating you well, Sirrah.
Like I said, I kind of think that,
I trust you are well, Donnic.
I am. And your reward is well earned. It will be grand having you over me. Above me. In rank, Guard Captain.
Thank you, Donnic. It will be grand indeed.
Oh. Anyway, Kevin says humans are creatures of habit, having limited and predictable desires and feelings, but a small list of common experiences. I think horoscope stuff is just pseudo-psychology.
How much longer do I have to wait?
Yeah. In a lot of cases, probably, yeah. Proto-psychology, maybe? Gallows. Family history, what was that? Alright, let's go to back to Gamlen's house for now.
So I'm just saying, blood's blood and all, but you are taking advantage of my hospitality. It's only fair if you make something of a monthly contribution.
You sold my children into servitude. Now you're asking me to pay rent?
Maybe just put something towards food.
You should be paying us, Uncle. We found the will.
Uh-oh.
Grandfather left everything to Mother and us. I guess he had some sense after all. See for yourself.
I should maybe...
To my daughter Leandra, and all children born of her, the estate in Hightown and all associated revenues.
Check out the part where Gamlen is left only a stipend, to be controlled by you.
Gamlen, how could you?
You're the one who ran away, Leandra. What happened to love is so much more important than money.
It is!
You didn't even come home for the funeral.
The twins were a week old.
We all have our burdens. Mine was looking after a life you abandoned. How long was I supposed to wait?
I doubt you let the ashes get cold.
I took care of Father. I stayed. And on his deathbed, all he could talk about was Leandra. Look, sister, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it, but I did. And there's nothing I can do to get it back.
I don't expect that, Gamlen. It's enough to know Mother and Father didn't die angry. I'll petition the Viscount for rights to reclaim the estate. Make a willing, you'll have your house back within weeks.
You don't have the coin or standing to even get an audience with the Viscount. You've got to be someone in this city to live in that house again.
Then I had better get started.
Uh-oh. He's real mad. And I think that's hilarious. All right. Okay, that's all of that. Is that a... No? Okay, let's keep moving on then. Okay. Yes, Gamlen sold the entire family fortune. Like a dick. I have mail. It says I have mail. I have mail? Where do I have mail? It would be on the writing desk, wouldn't it? This, right? Oh, the Bone Pit. Hawke, if you're looking for work, there's a rich merchant in Hightown who's got trouble in his mining operation. You haven't heard of the Bone Pit? The locals say it's cursed. With a name like that, I bet. I don't put much stock in it, but I had to turn down the job because martyrs in my crew making the rest superstitious. Go speak to Hubert Bartier in Hightown Market if you're interested. Sure. Eventually. See if we can get our crew together first, yeah? Let's go to... Family history. I forget what that is. Let's go through Lowtown to the Hanged Man. Varric will give us a nice job there. Then we'll go to Sundermount. Because we still have to deliver the thing for Flemeth. That's in Sundermount.
You could do worse, Hawke.
A Ferelden in the guard. What will they think of next?
You have a problem with that?
Me? My family's not native either. I'm just surprised. A lot of old prejudice in the guard.
I'll give them plenty of reason to change their minds.
You know, it's possible they're just scared shitless of you. That's my theory, anyway.
We can only hope. The Hanged Man is right. Jeez, guys. You're arguing and then agreeing not to argue, but then continuing to argue about the horoscopes in here.
You heard about that hero of Ferelden?
Yeah.
Bane.
Why?
What makes a hero, eh? I bet I could kill an archdemon.
I bet you could. I bet you would. Welcome to the Hanged Man.
What's the word on the street?
There's an expedition heading to the deep roads, and every sword and his dog wants in on it.
Okay.
Thanks. I should go.
Anytime.
What?
Obviously not selling anything. But...
So, here's the thing. We need to find a way into the deep roads. Bartrand can lead us to the right place once we're down there, but we need a good entrance.
I've fought Darkspawn, but I've never been to the deep roads.
Fortunately, I've received some new information. There's a Grey Warden in the city. If anyone knows how to get down there, it'll be him.
Why would a Grey Warden know that?
The Wardens don't just fight Darkspawn. They forge into the deep roads all the time. And if he doesn't know, he might be able to point us to those who do.
Are there any other options?
None at the moment. Bartrand had an entrance lined up, but it was a bust. I'll keep looking, but if we don't find something, we'll have a fancy expedition with nowhere to go.
Sounds like you have it all planned out, Varric.
And that, Messer, is why I'm here. Supposedly, this Grey Warden came in with some other Ferelden refugees not long ago. A Lowtown woman named Lorene has been helping the Fereldans. We talked to her, Maybe we learn where he is. I'll keep after my contacts, see if I can drum up any other work.
Alright, so anyway, one of the, I was saying that I want to make a video on Loki. Sort of its own standalone video, which really is an excuse to talk about the philosophy of time. And talk about how a lot of time travel stories, in particular Loki, but not exclusively Loki, there are others that are also absurd, but why Loki in particular is a fundamentally flawed and broken, has a fundamentally flawed and broken understanding of time. Forewarning, I am not, philosophy of time is not my area of specialization really at all. I do specialize in metaphysics, to the extent that, you know, I can muddle my way through it. I can make some sense of it, but philosophy of time tends to give me a headache. So it's not necessarily my expertise. So I am going to be doing some research and stuff and looking into explanations for things. That said, though, it is.
Stop looking at me. What's your issue now, little Hawke?
Don't call. Just don't, alright? You're looking for fodder for your stories.
Love it.
Do you think you're that interesting?
I have enough trouble being overshadowed as it is. I don't need to get caught under an imaginary me, too.
Don't you worry. I'm not in the business of lullabies or children's stories.
Ouch. That was harsh. Let's wait, not do this yet. Let's go out to Sundermount. Anyway, though, right, so that's mostly going to cover the big metaphysical questions in Loki. There are problems galore. There's enough for plenty of time to discuss in its own independent, separate video. For now, though, I do kind of want to talk about a couple of other things that are issues with Loki. Hold on. I really do need to turn this down. Hold on. Sorry. I'm realizing the combat noise is extremely loud. I did not realize that. So let me just turn down my capture a little bit. The capture volume. Turn down the audio. Oh man, it's already turned down a lot. Jeez. Okay, well, I guess that's fine. Hopefully this is fine. Hopefully this is better. Anyway, so, the other issues with Loki that I'm not really getting into there, because like I said, it's not really my expertise. It's even further from my expertise, really, the narrative stuff. One thing is the character assassination of Loki, right? Loki as a character in the show is nothing like Loki in Thor or in the Avengers, which is right before the series takes place chronologically. I mentioned to somebody not long ago, but can you imagine someone seeing Loki, the series, immediately after seeing the Avengers? Like right when the Avengers came out, seeing Loki next? Man, that would have a completely different feel for it. It would be radically altered. Their perception of Loki would be... They would not understand why he's acting the way that he is. And I think that should be our reaction, because this is the Loki from 2012, from the Avengers. Sorry about that. He hasn't had this kind of character development all the way to 2018 or so.
You're kind and unwelcome
to Infinity War.
the Dalish.
Before we get into this, we don't need to say too much about this because we've covered a lot of this lore already. But in any case, right? So a couple of the things here, right, that are big issues. The other big issue, and this is one that I really pissed me off when I saw it, and then all the more so after the fact. Hey Manfred, thanks for joining. Welcome. After the fact, when I started seeing memes about it, was when I really got pissed off about this. So Okay, so spoilers if you haven't seen the final episode of Loki. It came out a week or so ago, more than a week ago at this point, so I think I can talk about some of it. Right. So they're presented with this decision at the end by Kang, essentially the guy's Kang, the one who remains. And the decision is between killing him and, by so doing, allowing the multiverse to flourish. And his claim is, and for all we know this is true, but his claim is that by allowing the multiverse to reemerge, by allowing free choice, by allowing free will, what will then happen is a new version of him, a different version of him, a worse version of him will inevitably win this multiversal war and will take over. And it'll be someone worse than him in charge. All right. The other alternative is to basically work for him and sort of take his place, running things. Take over the TVA, manage the timeline, keep the sacred timeline sacred and consistent, all of that. And yet, basically make themselves into, the two of them working together, make themselves into what amount to their own petty tyrants over all of reality. So, character assassination bits, first of all. Loki, 2012 Loki, the Loki who just was defeated in the Avengers, would absolutely be on the side of saying, absolutely, we should take over the universe with this most powerful thing in existence. We should take him up on the offer. Loki would. 2012 Loki would. Obviously, the right choice is to kill the Mad Tyrant and free all of being. Right? It seems kind of obvious. Obviously the right choice. Okay, but it's presented otherwise. It's presented as Loki, who has now gone through magical character development without really actually going through an arc. Loki is saying that, wait a minute, we need to be careful. Maybe we should take him up on his offer. We just need to think about it. Because, it really could be worse. We really should just take over the world for the world's own sake. Meanwhile, Sylvie is Loki, is portrayed as wanting to kill him because she has wanted revenge against him for her entire life for, well, destroying her entire reality. It's fair. So honestly, if you're going to seek revenge, that's good reason, right? So, but the show then portrays Loki's reasoning as the morally and prudentially correct decision. Right? He goes back to the TVA and he says, "Mobius, we've made a terrible mistake." Right? By allowing people to choose freely, not taking over the cosmos. And I was like, "What? You're insane. This is obviously wrong, right? You've obviously not made a terrible mistake, right? Sylvie did the right thing, and you didn't have the balls to do it. This is like a female empowerment thing, right? That's the whole idea." No, apparently not. Apparently, most viewers took Loki's view on this and said, no, the right thing to do, morally the right thing to do, would be to take over the world and become benevolent, omnipotent dictators. And I've been seeing this a lot. Like, people blaming Sylvie for making the wrong decision and making a terrible mistake. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you people? She killed a mad tyrant who had been responsible for completely eliminating all free will throughout all of time and all of the cosmos, per the MCU. Excuse me? It's another example like we see with like WandaVision, where at the end, they'll never know what you sacrificed for them. Oh, you mean enslaving them trapped inside their own minds for a week? Oh yeah, that was it. That was it. Right. That was good. It was understandable. You were grieving. Shut up. Everything really since Endgame has been just horrendously morally inverted. So much of Marvel, the 3 series so far. have been just horrendously morally inverted. It's very bad. It's not just bad; it's evil at this point, and it's a problem. It's the same problem I was pointing out with respect to Cruella. Right? Cruella is sort of lauding the villain, Cruella de Vil, and lauding her worst behavior. All right, fine, she's not literally skinning puppies alive in this show yet, but we know that she will, and a lot of the things that she is doing in this show are in the movie already are evil, and yet she is the girl boss. You know, what the hell, man? Yeah, it's kind of messed up. It's not kind of messed up. It's extremely messed up, and a lot of people are buying it, and that drives me up the wall. It drives me up the wall that people are just sort of buying plainly into this. Manfred says, I've lost all interest in Marvel and DC a long time ago. It's like the movies are just meh now. Yeah, kind of. There's been a gradual downturn in quality, particularly after Infinity War, right? I mean, objectively speaking, Captain Marvel was bad. Endgame was okay, but had a lot of problems. Like, subjectively, I loved it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I loved Endgame. But from a writing standpoint, there were tons of problems with it that weren't really there so much earlier in the MCU. And then you get Far From Home, which was good. Not great. It was good. And now you've got the Disney Plus shows, the 3 Disney Plus series, which WandaVision started out well, but then the overall premise, the stuff we find out at the end, kind of really sours the whole thing. And then, again, Falcon the Winter Soldier was a world-building nightmare, as well as, well, so was Loki, but as well as some really morally confused message. We get big brain, radical centrist Falcon turned Captain America. So, yeah, I don't care for it. Yeah, it's been a precipitous downturn in quality. Honestly, is weird to say, but the MCU would have been well served by ending with Endgame. Actually, properly ending. And honestly, they could have moved on to a different Marvel property. A different Marvel universe, a different series. They have the rights to it, they can just do that. They can say, alright, all of that, story. The Infinity Saga. It's done. Now let's do a completely different story in a completely different setting. None of that matters. Let's start from scratch. They could have done that, and it could have been really good. Although, to be fair, with their current writers, it probably couldn't have been, but it probably would have served them better. Anyway, WizKid says, Jesus Christ, most people really are pretty authoritarian. This is the same moral stance as saying Thanos did nothing wrong. It's way worse than Thanos did nothing wrong. Thanos only wanted to murder half the world. This wants to absolutely monomaniacally and not monomaniacally, that's not correct. Not technically correct. Wants to megalomaniacally, that's the term, and wants to megalomaniacally tyrannize the entire world in a totalitarian fashion. Every aspect of everything controlled down to the finest detail. And if anyone or anything diverges from that finest detail, they get murdered. You're late for work? Murdered. As EFAP has put it, or you, this is the good example of it. If Thanos had decided to double the resources, then the TVA would have melted him. Wasn't the sacred timeline. Their best take on this was EFAP, Every Frame of Pause, their response to the first episode, talking about the world building. If there were a victim of the Holocaust, for example, who escaped the concentration camp, and fled from German territory, say into Poland or whatever, they managed to escape. The TVA would have shown up and melted them because they weren't supposed to escape. I'll give the MCU credit, they've made an antagonist that is worse than the Nazis. Unfortunately, they don't seem to realize that they've made an antagonist. Anyway. WizKid says, let villains be evil. Damn it, that's what makes them fun. It really is, yeah. Like, Maleficent was ruined by Maleficent. She was a good villain until she was not a villain anymore. You know, Manfred said, I used to be a big Star Wars fan. The Force Awakens was all right. And then I'm mad too. Yeah, same. I'm still a huge Star Wars fan. I love good Star Wars. I hate bad Star Wars because I love good Star Wars. Yeah. WizKid says, see, I prefer Infinity War pretty much every way. I actually like Endgame better, but I acknowledge there were a lot more problems with it. Erica says, I walked out of Infinity War going, it really felt like part one of a two-part movie, where this is just setting stuff up, but it's the boring part of setting things up. And yeah, I think so too, because it's... I'll tell you what, subjectively at least, my least favorite part of any trilogy is the middle act, is Act 2. Even if it's the best constructed, it's my least favorite. Because it's all set up, because it has to be all set up for the climax. Not just because it's the darkest part, but because it's purely set up. Excuse me. It winds up being my least favorite, because it's the least narratively interesting. Kevin says, Conspiracy Kevin says, it's all purposeful mental conditioning masked as entertainment. Yeah, I think I kind of agree with Conspiracy Kevin. I almost agree with Conspiracy Kevin. I don't quite think that it's purposeful. Or at least insofar as it's intentional. It's consciously intentional. I think this is just their worldview. And they're just writing from their worldview. And that's just what it is. And of course it's going to come out because that's what they think about the world. They're all totalitarian psychopaths. So they're going to write like totalitarian psychopaths. WizKid said it wants to enslave them for their own good, and these people say they're anti-slavery. Please, they'll let themselves become slaves to their own appetites and drag the rest of them down with drag the rest of us down with them. Yeah, that too. Slaves to their own appetites, but even also just slaves to slave masters too. That too. Like, very literal. On that note, I have to add that on the note of them being, enslaving them sort of for their own good. That's the worst kind of tyrant, right? C.S. Lewis pointed this out really, really well in That Hideous Strength, maybe? I think it was in the novel. In a novel, I think it was That Hideous Strength. It might have been in one of his essays. I don't remember exactly. Where he said that really famous line about the worst tyrant is the one who commits his acts of evil in what he sees as for the good of his subjects, because he is backed by his own conscience. He'll never be troubled that what he's doing is the wrong thing to do because he's convinced utterly that it's the right thing to do. Biscuit says, I love how we disagree on this. Lol. Middles expand the world in interesting ways and force the characters to begin to change their inner selves. This is why Mass Effect 2 is my least favorite of the three. Yeah, I know that's unpopular. Listen, it's really unpopular. It's also why Empire is my least favorite of the three. Empire Strikes Back is my least favorite of the original trilogy. Don't hit me. I'm not saying it's the worst. I'm saying it's my least favorite. My favorite is Return of the Jedi, then A New Hope, then Empire. Sorry, guys. Honestly, in terms of subjective favorites, it probably goes Return of the Jedi, A New Hope, Revenge of the Sith, then Empire, then Phantom Menace, then Attack of the Clones. Those last two are really close. Really, really close to each other. As far as Mass Effect goes, if you're looking for a sort of justification for that, I have a video that I'll put in the description afterwards about why ME2 gets overrated a lot. Kylie says, I have a question. Who do you think was the true villain of Harry Potter, Voldemort or Dumbledore? Voldemort. Obviously. Very obviously. Dumbledore made mistakes, but obviously Voldemort was the villain. Yeah, absolutely. Manfred says, Return of the Jedi is really the best in my opinion. That's tough. I might say so. I've watched Empire a few times lately, and I have to say that the pacing is not as perfect as a lot of people say it is. It really drags in the second act. And a lot of stuff just sort of happens when they're still on Hoth. that doesn't seem to be a kind of narrative through line so much. So yeah, it's not as perfect as a lot of people say it is. It's still good. Don't get me wrong; it's still really good. But you could argue that Return of the Jedi is better. The only problem is that there's with Return of the Jedi, the biggest problem is not the Ewoks; it's that there are tons and tons of plot contrivances in the Jabba's palace. That Luke's plan is nonsensical from the outset. Everything just sort of happens because the Force, I guess. So that's a bit of an issue. But otherwise, yeah, I honestly think it's really, really good. Yeah, WizKid says it's a C.S. Lewis quote. Yeah, I just don't remember where it's from. I think it's that Hate is Strength, but it might be an essay. WizKid says Voldemort is literally evil personified. Not a very compelling villain in a lot of ways, but still clearly evil. Dumbledore is just morally gray and a bit arrogant. Just not how you expect him to be. Yeah, he made a lot of mistakes, and a lot of it was due to due to his own personal connections. A lot of it was due to his own cowardice and hubris, both at the same time, which is interesting. It's interesting, which is a really interesting combination of character traits. Yeah, Voldemort was definitely the villain, without a doubt. I'm not one of those who tend to sort of try and redeem villains. Manfred asks if I have any ancestors in World War I. Not that I can know of. I don't think so. I don't think any of my ancestors actually fought in the war.
What's a Shemlin?
An elven slur for human.
It means you're not one of the people, and you should leave now.
That's not true. That's not what it means. It means quick. It means you're dying. Shemlin means dying. It means that in contrast with immortal. Of course, that comes from a time when elves were immortal. This is not one of those times. Elves are not immortal like they used to be in Dragon Age at this point. But Shemlin, or Shem, still means quick or dying. Cool little tidbit.
Who are you people?
We are the last of the Elven.
Keep that in mind, Hawke. Elves you see elsewhere, figments of your imagination.
They have given up their identity to live among Shemlin. They're Elven no more.
I was given an amulet for someone named Marathari.
How do you know that name?
Wait, this is the one the Keeper spoke of.
A Shemlin? I thought he'd be an elf.
Enter the camp. Keeper Marathari has been waiting for you.
Cause trouble, and you'll meet our blades, stranger.
Okay.
Marathari, I was told to bring you this amulet.
Andaranatishan, travelers. Indeed, I am Keeper Marathari. Let me look at you. There is a light in your heart, human. Don't let it go out. You will need it. Tell me how this burden fell to you, child.
Cool. Hallie says he literally couldn't kill a kid because touching the kid made him burn, and Dumbledore was the one wanting to keep the prophecy of Harry's death intact in order of events. Yes, Voldemort's a villain, but he's not the villain of the series. I really say I think he absolutely is. I mean, Dumbledore's willing to... I hesitate to say he's willing to sacrifice Harry. Because that's the way that Dumbledore spins it. Or, I mean, that's the way that Snape spins it. It's more that he was willing to... He was helping... He was getting Harry to go to sacrifice himself, which is ultimately what he did. Right? Which is teaching him nobility, really. And it also, worth noting, didn't kill him. Right? Because, again, Harry is very much a Christ type in the story. Christ archetype. Oh, I mean, Eric is right, yeah. Yeah, it's Umbridge. We all know that. Toad Woman. Yeah, true. It's the Ministry of Magic. The Ministry of Magic is the real bad guy in the Harry Potter series. Everyone knows that. Oh God, I forget if there is a. There might be an out of frame episode from Foundation of Economic Education on Harry Potter and about the Ministry of Magic. I think. If not, I'm thinking of something else that talks about the Ministry of Magic being a horrifying detriment to the wizarding community and basically being the bad guys of the series. So yeah, I might, if I can find it, I'll put it in the descriptions. I'll put a link in the description. Manfred says, I have a British one who's in the Lancashire Fusiliers. Cool. 2 American ones in the 97th Engineer Regiment, other unknown. Unknown, really? That's interesting that you could, that recently, comparatively speaking, you could have unintact records to that degree. And one in the Royal Navy, from the HMA Iron Duke. Cool. WizKid disagrees with you, Kylie. Let's see. I mean, so do I, but like I said. I mean, I don't think anyone disagrees about Umbridge in the Ministry, but maybe in the Ministry, but I don't think anyone disagrees about Umbridge.
Your guards said you spoke of me. How did you know I was coming?
I listened. To the wind, to the birds, as the hunters do, to my dreams. I watched the stars. There is great wisdom to be found all around us, if you know how to listen for it. But I was not certain. Nothing is certain.
Cool. So I like the Dalish really get a lot of different characterization throughout the series. The closest I would say is halfway between Welsh and Native American, but also with elements of remnants of a lost civilization, because that's really the key. What sort of ties them together in their history and stuff. But I think, like, the culturally speaking, they're really strong Native American elements, and they're really strong Celtic elements, especially Welsh. Really cool. Their accents here, at least this tribe, is it called a tribe? This group are Welsh, are distinctively Welsh. WizKid says, no, Dumbledore is absolutely that conniving, but that doesn't make him evil, not like Voldemort was. Again, evil personified, specifically the sort of evil that literally cannot comprehend good. That is an important aspect. Andrew says, the only thing I remember from Harry Potter is Snape, and the big guy with a beard had a... Oh, so you're talking about Dumbledore had a sexual relationship with Griswold, according to J.K. Rowling. After the fact, she said this, of course. It was... Oh god, it was one of those things where she retcons extensively on Twitter. Like the whole, before Muggles invented proper plumbing, wizards just used to basically shit their pants and magic away the poop. Hell. Stop that. We know you're lying. Why are you trying to make up this stuff?
Exactly what have I been carrying around? Is it magic?
It is a promise, child. Made by one whose word still has weight. And therefore, it has terrible power. There are few things in this world stronger than a promise kept. Remember that.
Kylie says, I'm not saying he's evil, I'm saying he's basically the underlying villain in this series because of how he was willing to sacrifice Harry, even though he cared for him and still willing to let him die because of a prophecy. I can maybe see an argument that he was an antagonist, or partially an antagonist. But I think that you're seeing Harry sacrifice as a bad thing. And that seems like that, and now I'll say that seems obvious, like, oh, of course it's a bad thing, he dies. But yes, but also no, right? Remember that consciously or not, and this is actually not something that Rowling has ex post facto commented on, maybe she should have. But Harry's self-sacrifice is a Christ type. it's a Christ archetype, right? And so his death is a kind of echo or a type of Christ's death, which is not a bad thing, right? The fact that he was murdered was a bad thing. The fact that he died and therefore rose was a good thing. Similarly, because again it's the same story in different form, in lesser form, right? It's not bad that Harry died, because that's what killed the Horcrux, right? It's bad that he was murdered, both in the first place and again, Book 7. But it's not that. But that's not the bad part. The bad part is that he was murdered. It's not bad that he died. Thinking of Harry's death as the negative end to his story is, I think, what's causing this problem. It's not that Dumbledore was sort of raising him like a pig to be slaughtered, as I think Snape said something like that. I don't remember exactly. It's rather that he was teaching him the kind of nobility that it would take to allow himself to be killed in this way, and so ultimately win. That's radically different. Right? And I think that's kind of the error behind this idea. Okay, hold on. Oh god, I'm way back here. Alright, Erica says, Snape was 100% a horrible person, and he only helped because of bad reasons. Wizkid says, anything Welsh is a win in my book, talking about our Dalish clan. Clan, that's what it's called, clan. Wales is such a fascinating place. Yeah, I love Welsh mythology, the Mabinogi and stuff, or Mabinogi, stuff like that. Kylie says, true, Snape is more the villain side of things and called Dumbledore dumbass. That's me dead. Wizkid says, Kylie, no, that doesn't make him a villain, not at all. Erica says he was obsessed with a woman, talking about Snape, hated her husband and then her child. He did not love her. He lusted over her, which is a mortal sin. He saw her as an object and didn't want to kill Voldemort because it was the right thing to do. It was out of revenge. Very true. And yes, Manfred, it's sad Alan Rickman, Snape's actor, passed away not too long ago. It was a couple of years ago. It was spectacular. In that role and pretty much everything I've ever seen him in, it was wonderful. And brilliant actor, as Erica says. Yeah, absolutely. His most underrated role, perhaps, is the Sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Amazing in that role. He was so good. Anyway, I might watch that again soon. Kelly says, exactly. Yeah, Snape is pretty icky. Loved Alan Rickman, though. I was really sad about his passing. Biscuit says, actually, Dumbledore being gay makes sense in context to a degree. He and Grindelwald were close, intensely, obsessively close, but ultimately it's Dumbledore's inner fiber that made it not work. Yeah, maybe that's true. Again, I think it was intended very clearly. It was intended in the book as a kind of mutual admiration and friendship through a kind of arrogance, hubris. Self-importance, even. They both saw both themselves and each other as brilliant wizards, brilliant magicians who were learning and discovering more than they ever could, or than anyone ever could. But then Dumbledore realized that Grindelwald went too far when his sister died, right? Something, I forget exactly why, but it had to do with the death of his sister. Erica says, no, Eddie, please stop making close male relationships out to be gay. She literally just inserted that to get woke points afterwards. Yeah, pretty clearly. Again, it was very obviously not in the book. It wasn't even lightly implied in the book. Like I said, it was about their sort of mutual admiration for their drive, right? Their drive to knowledge, to their curiosity is the term I would use, but the sinful sort of curiosity that Aquinas condemns, let's say, for example. Wizkid says, also, Harry dying is literally the point. He needed to die to defeat Voldemort. Dumbledore's overriding objective was defeating Voldy. Harry's Horcrux needed to be destroyed in order to do that. Again, yes, but again, the particular structure of the death that, again, echoes the Christus Victor model of Christ's atonement. Of the atonement of Christ, sorry. That's the part that is so... I almost want to say it was unintentional, because I have a hard time believing that it was fully intentional. It was fully intended. But it was definitely there. It was definitely there. It's because, yeah, I agree, but that's just easily could be gay. I don't think they were originally, but it fits enough with the narrative, and I have no problems with it. Yeah. Yeah, Erica thinks it was Dumbledore's sister who was killed. Also, yeah, that's not a thing that needs to be in children's books. Yeah, same. Agreed. Was because that was the linchpin, his sister being killed, that was finally made him see how unhinged Grindelwald was. I thought so. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so what is this?
Are you the leader of these Dalish? Why did the witch tell me to bring this amulet to you?
I am the keeper of this clan. It is my task to guide my people and to ensure the old ways are not forgotten. As for Asha Bellinar, I am tied to her, just as you are, by a debt that must be repaid.
No, Kylie. She was killed through some kind of experimentation that Grindelwald was up to. He was trying to do some kind of magical experiment, and it wound up killing her. And that showed Dumbledore that there was something terribly wrong. Wiskid says Harry Potter is only somewhat a children's book. They get progressively darker as Harry and the audience get older. That's true. I would put him in like high school. Like I trace the age appropriateness to Harry's age, and there you go. You're about set.
This amulet's owner rescued my family from the Blight. In return, I agreed to bring it to you.
I honor you for coming to me. But I'm afraid your part in this is not done yet. The amulet must be taken to an altar at the top of the mountain and given a Dalish rite for the departed. Then, return the amulet to me. Do this and your debt will be repaid.
Are you going to teach me this rite for the departed?
I will send my first with you. She will see to it the ritual is done. And when it is complete, I must ask that you take her with you when you go.
Who is your first? First of what?
Your people would call her my apprentice, or heir. Meryl would have taken my place as
companion.
Keeper, but she has chosen a new path. Please, guide her safely from here.
Oh, crap.
I live in
No.
Kirkwall,
Damn it. Why did I say
have
that?
room for stray elves.
Shouldn't have said that.
You needn't look after her. Simply take her to the city. You'll find Meryl waiting for you on the trail just up the mountain.
My bad.
Dareth Shiral.
I didn't mean to say that. Okay, it's fine. It's fine, I hope. Popper Doggo. Alright, let's run and let's actually do this. We might go a little late tonight. We've been talking a hell of a lot, so let's just do it. This shouldn't take too terribly long, I think.
Leave it. You won't need it.
Level. We got 10 minutes. I think we can do it.
Look that bad.
I'm just being mean to the keeper. She's kind of mean anyway. It's fine. Was that they're dueling over the Elder Wand? I thought it was something else. I thought it was magical experimentation and something went awry. They killed their sister. I don't remember. You might be right. You might be right.
Oh, I didn't hear. You must be the one the Keeper told me about. Anethera.
I'm so sorry. I didn't ask your name. Unless... It's not rude to ask a human their name, is it? I'm Meryl, which you probably knew already. I'm rambling, sorry.
I love her already.
We didn't get a proper introduction.
I am... or was, I suppose. The first to keep a Marathari. I've studied the old ways for as long as I can remember. I know things. The law of the Dalish that can help us get to the summit of Sandamort.
Demont. Michael climbed over the couch and fell into his cage, so I guess he trapped himself. Oh my god. He seems really surprised about these turn of events. We have the smartest children.
You seem awfully nervous.
I've never met a human
His
before.
plans were foiled. Yeah, Kylie.
Dalish mothers frighten their children with stories about you, you know. Not
Thanks.
you, personally, of course. I'm sure they don't have any tales about you. Or not scary ones, at least. Not that you're not notable enough to have a story. I'll just shut up now.
Oh my god.
Did you hear that strange noise?
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Okay. You were doing magic in your lap, but alright.
Why are you leaving the Dalish for Kirkwall?
I have to. Let's leave it at that for now, all right?
Okay.
You'll have to work harder than that to offend me. My name's Hawke.
Thank you. I'm afraid I'm not very experienced with your kind. The Keeper said you came from Ferelden. I spent most of my life there. We only came north a few years ago. Have you been in the Free Marches long? Do you like it here?
I miss the cold and the dirt. Kirkwall's not brown enough for me. But hey, no Darkspawn.
Ferelden wasn't that brown. The dirt and muck gave it character. We should go. Your task is for Asher Bellinar. It's not wise to make her wait.
Oh my god. Yeah, so... Yeah, that was a nice jab at the art design of the first game.
Do you know the witch who sent me here?
No, not personally. My people tell stories of her, though. You're very lucky. Most people who meet Asher Bellinar wind up in little pieces, hanging from the trees.
Yeah, that matches the tale of the Witch of the Wilds.
What do we have to do with the amulet?
It's a funeral of sorts. I'll perform it when we get to the mountaintop. Getting there is the tricky part. Our hunters haven't been able to reach the summit. Dark things are about.
I take it you've been expecting me to bring this amulet for some time.
The Keeper brought us here to wait for you. I don't know much more than that. I do know that you have Asher Bellinar's amulet, and we must bring it to the altar on the mountaintop. Nothing more.
Let's get this over with.
Alright, let's do it. Oh, she doesn't join the party. Totally thought she did. Not yet, I guess. Magic. Cold or Firestorm? Cold.
At least it's not boring. Have action! One less to worry about! You!
The Keeper didn't mention you were a mage.
All Keepers know a bit of old magic. The stories tell us that all Elven once had the gift. But like so many things, it was lost.
You'd think people would catch on to the whole
Job
carrying
to
a staff
remember,
thing.
To restore what we can.
Cool. Yeah, you'd think people would catch on to the whole staff thing.
Does the Chantry know about the Dalish mages?
Oh, they know. Keeper Marathari told me that was one of the reasons we never camped too long in one place. They usually won't pursue us if we stay away from the cities and towns and keep moving. But my clan is now in more danger, having lost our Hala.
If you go to Kirkwall, you'll be an apostate in a city full of Templars.
I know, But if I don't go to Kirkwall, I'll be alone. A solitary elf is easy prey for anyone. In the city, I can get lost in the crowd.
I mean, that's ironic coming from Hawke, who was an apostate in Kirkwall. But okay.
Can't demons possess Dalish mages?
It can happen. And when it does, the clan must hunt and kill their own keeper.
I'm glad you decided to pitch in back there.
Oh, you're welcome. I wasn't sure I'd be much good. I've done a little fighting before, but it was always alone. I'll try not to hit anyone. On our side, I mean. I'm babbling again. Let's go.
Yeah.
I am not cleaning this up.
I got blood on my coat.
Alright, let's go. Uppity, 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 up. Alright, hopefully, like I said, this won't take super long, so we can run a little late tonight.
Get back! Got you!
We're not welcome in this town.
That'll work.
So the Keeper finally found someone to take you from here.
Yes.
Then finish your task quickly, human. We cannot be rid of this one too soon.
Night, Kevin. Thanks for stopping by. Feel free to come back and watch the last bit.
I have made
later.
my choice. And I will save our clan whatever you think.
Yes, WizKid. Hawke still needs to be a mage because of reasons. Erica says, I'm obsessively refreshing YouTube because I'm subbed to someone posting all the League of Legends Sentinels of Light chapters of their Ruination event. Only reason I care is because Graves and as well, maybe by extension, Twisted Fate are in it. I want to see what they do. So far, Graves is hilarious. Otherwise, the lore in this event is absolute trash. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, League lore is such a bizarre thing because it's so disconnected from it. Looks like the advertising and skin developers are the ones writing the lore instead of the, lore writers. Oh.
What's going on here, Meryl?
Nothing. Just ignorance. We should go.
This is beginning to sound more and more sketchy as we continue. Rock slide, huh? Oh, what's this?
A landslide blocked the path. There's
Darn.
a cave that should take us to the other side.
We go around. Reminds me of Marvel and Star Wars writers. That's harsh.
I'm sorry. You're not really seeing the Dalish at their best. We're good people that look out for each other. Just not today, apparently.
Is there anything I can do to help?
It's kind of you to ask. I'm fine. Even if my people don't appreciate my efforts, I must see this through. Let's go. Ashabelana isn't known for her patience.
We'll find out more about her and why people don't trust her gradually. Is this the one with the spiders? Yeah, it's spiders. It's always spiders. Okay, dead spiders. Whiskin says all lore keepers are a bunch of wannabe leftist scrubs nowadays. Why are you surprised? Yeah, unfortunately, probably true. Kelly says, "Ooh, we all random thought. Mom just got an air fryer. Cool, cool. I'm intrigued by these fancy smancy new kitchen gadgets. I mean, honestly, of all of the wacky kitchen gadgets, I would most actually hold on. To do it. Of all of the wacky kitchen gadgets, I would probably most want a Instant Pot. But air fryer is probably on the list. I like frying stuff, really do, but I had an actual deep fryer. I think I might still have it deep away in a cabinet somewhere. I'm not really sure. But it was a huge pain, and it was a mess. It was quite the mess to actually use. It also used a gratuitous amount of oil. One hell of a battle cry for a healing spell, but okay. Graveyard. Well, wait a minute. Let me check everything first, because there's a bunch of stuff. Extra areas.
Can't we talk about this?
Whoa, 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 what is going on here? Well, that was really something. Okay.
Piece of cake.
We already came through here, though, right? Yeah, that's where we came through. Eric says, no, it's not that. League lore hasn't gone woke, actually. It's mostly because they're mostly Chinese audience. Which does make a bit of sense, really. Who's says, oh, I see you pandering to the communists. Based commies? Don't like that. Don't like that. But they have turned to only caring about the China moolah money, I mean.
I can open the way forward. One moment.
Michael just jumped into his cage again. He seems to want to be in there, I guess. Oh, well, that's interesting. That's not
right.
Great.
That was not normal.
No.
That was blood magic.
Yes, it was blood magic, but I know what I'm doing. The spirit helped us, didn't it?
Sure, demons are very helpful. Right up until they take your mind and turn you into a monster.
Well, yes. But that won't happen. I know how to defend myself. Be careful up ahead. Restless things prowl the heights.
Hooray! Kelly says, also, I heard that air fryers...
The elders came here to sleep. Uthanara. The endless dream, they called it. But they don't sleep peacefully anymore.
Oh! Well, that's a thing. That's definitely a thing that might not be correct, but would be interesting if it is. Let's keep that in mind for a very, very long time from now. Anyway, Kylie says, also, I heard that an air fryer can roast a whole rotisserie chicken. I would think so. Yeah, that actually sounds perfectly reasonable, given what I know about air fryers. I mean, it's basically a very high-powered convection oven. I mean, realistically, that's most of what it is. Okay, here we are.
Get ready!
What in the world? No. Hey, I don't like you. Get out of here.
I think it's safe now. Place the amulet on the altar, and I'll begin the rite.
Okay, 6 gold. That's a good bit. Let's see.
Aharen amalana salen. Emma ira au bella zaviranan. Isalahamin vinanhim dofilas. In usanera narivas.
Huh, hi. You're dead. Supposed to be.
And here we are.
Under Anatishan Ashabalana.
One of the people. I see. So young and bright. Do you know who I am, beyond that title?
I know only a little.
Then stand. The people bend their knee too quickly. So
God, that was so telling.
to see someone who keeps their end of a bargain. I half expected my amulet to end up in a merchant's pocket.
I agreed to deliver the amulet, though you could have told me you were inside it.
Just a piece. A small piece. But it was all I needed. A bit of security, should the inevitable occur. And if I know my Morrigan, it already has.
Yes. Yes, we saw to that last time. Dalen saw to that. Also, speaking of Horcruxes, or phylacteries, or call it whatever you want.
Is that someone I should know?
She's a girl who thinks she knows what is what better than I or anyone. And why not? I raised her to be as she is. I cannot expect her to be less.
I'm not sure whether she's your daughter or your enemy.
Neither is she.
Erica says, dude, the Warden and Morrigan would be so pissed. Don't worry, they will be. It's straight up nuke that hill and everyone there. Don't worry, they probably will have. Don't worry, we meet one of the two of them again in Dragon Age Inquisition and get to hear their thoughts on this whole nonsense.
Why did you need me to bring you here?
Because I had an appointment to keep. And because I did not want to be followed, you smuggled me here quite nicely.
That's true.
I don't understand. Are you some kind of vision?
Must I be in only one place? Bodies are such limiting things. I am but a fragment cast adrift from the whole, a bit of flotsam to cling to in the storm.
A fragment?
You do not need to understand, child. Know only that you may have saved my life, just as I once saved yours. An even trade, I think.
have plans, I take it?
Destiny awaits
I
us
bet.
both, dear boy. We have much to do. Before I go, a word of advice. We stand upon the precipice of change. The world fears the inevitable plummet into the abyss. Watch for that moment, and when it comes, do not hesitate to leap. It is only when you fall that you learn whether you can fly.
Cheap advice from a dragon.
We all have our challenges.
Are we going to regret bringing her here?
Regret is something I know well. Take care not to cling to it, to hold it so close that it poisons your soul. When the time comes for your regrets, remember me. As for you, child, step carefully. No path is darker than when your eyes are shut.
Maceranus Ashbelinar.
We're going to wrap up after
Now
this.
the time has come for me to leave. You have my thanks and my sympathy.
See you later. Yeah, Flemeth, man. Kelly's enough to log off, so good night. If I missed you, sorry. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Hopefully Monday we'll be back to Nier, and then next week we'll be back to right about here. I do want to talk about this a little bit. That was some of that part that was foreshadowed earlier in Origins, where she talks about the precipice of destiny and taking that leap and not knowing where you're going to land. And I think there's a lot to that, and I think there's a lot to testing yourself and learning in that way, in a way that we often don't, or are often terrified to. I really like that sort of bit of really cryptic advice. Also, really cryptic advice because, well, just keep in mind some things about leaping into Maker knows what. By the time we get around to Inquisition. Again, I don't know if that was really specific foreshadowing, intentional or what, but it's there. Anyway, this was delightful. I love Flemeth. She is a fantastic pseudo-villain. WizKid says, which is basically the most Welsh name ever. Flemeth? Yeah, pretty much. Ashbelinar is the elven version. Kind of the elven version. There's more to it than that. Also, WizKid says, oh wait, did I miss the awkward Morrigan sex? Damn it. Come on, buddy. Anyway. Yes, you did. And guess what we had up? It was this. This was what you saw. Anyway, you did also miss some discussions about it, I think, near the end of the Origin stream, before we got to Awakening. Actually, it was before we get to Liliana's song, because Liliana's song was before Awakening. So that was ways back. That was quite a ways back. But anyway, that is... I'm going to save, because I have forgotten to. I should have been doing this a lot more, but there we go. That was great. I had a great time. Thank you all for joining me. We now have found our next party member, that is Meryl. Who, if you didn't catch the hint earlier, is my sort of canon love interest for Hawke. QT 3.14 Elf GF. There you go. Anyway, next time we're going to be going back to Kirkwall, because we're always going back to Kirkwall. And we're going to be picking up the rest of our companions, getting some more side quests and stuff done that need to be done in Act 1. We might... Ironic. I thought we were going to get to the Deep Roads expedition this time. I completely forgot the length of Act 1. So, no, not at all. Next time, maybe. We might get to the start of the Deep Roads expedition, though looking at things, it seems kind of unlikely. Also, as Erica says, game tomorrow, game tomorrow, game tomorrow. Hype. See you tomorrow then, Eddie. Otherwise, like I said, thank you all for joining me so much. We will be back on Monday, hopefully to actually play Nier this time. The updates are all done and everything, and I think I have everything set, and I'll actually try and check a little more in advance this time. That the update just sort of jumped out at me like the day of, so I had checked the day before and there was nothing, but I'll try again. I'll make sure this time, I hope, and we should be all set. Another thing to mention, if you weren't here at the beginning, if you look over there in the corner, you will see ko-fi.com/Professor McCoy. That is a little donate website. It basically works like YouTube Super Chat. You can donate an amount and send a message, and it goes straight to me through PayPal. They don't take a percentage or anything, which is really nice. I appreciate that very much. It's really cool. So that's what that is. So if you're looking at a way to donate to me, donate to the channel, to help me get through some of the content that I'm wanting to produce, if you appreciate what I do, that kind of thing, or if you just want a message sent through either personally or anonymously or whatever, there you go. That'll do it. Anyway, thank you all again for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you all on Monday for more Nier, and I will see you all on next Thursday for more of this. Gradually going to be working on that Loki video, so keep your eyes peeled. It'll be out eventually. Like I said, that one's going to involve a good bit of editing and work and stuff, so that'll be a while. Anyway, thank you again, and I'll see all of you next time. Good night.